Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. Yeah, it's lit in the Chop Shop. Turn your dials up in the drop top. They ain't based in debate, but they keep it fact straight. Going 30 for 30. Let's do a first take on Facebook Live from 12 to 2. Rob Hatter and Jim Hicks going back and forth like Carter Ray and Skip Bayless and Stephen Smith. From on the court, off the court, straight to the field. Not a man that steals, but I made it steal. To the octagon where I fight to kill. We go face to face, then you write your will. I don't play tennis, but I bring the racket. I'm on the floor, I attack the basket. Put you in the casket when I'm overlapping. Never showing mercy, cause I'm always snapping. Never showing mercy when I'm in the arena. Step into the ring, he hit me as I beat him. Step into the court, I'm never backing down. Killing competition, I'm smacking down. Let me get back to the other stuff at the Chop Shop, cause they cutting up. It's Retro coming to you live to the Chop Shop. Now let's turn it up. Yeah, we in the Chop Shop, man. Shout out to Jim Hicks and Rob Hatter. You can catch the Chop Shop live from 12 to 2 on Facebook Live. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the
H-Town, what's up? You know what time it is? It's time for the best 120 minutes of your day. It's the Midday Sports Happy Hour, the Chop Shop. I'm yours truly, the Hatter. And yes, I can do all. I'm sorry, did I say I was the Hatter?
Hey, you the Hatter.
What? Well, you gotta do this, and you gotta do that, and you gotta do this, and you gotta be mad. But I'm the hater, I'm not the Hatter. Yours truly, after they got the W last night, Hatter is always on the winning team. They beat Rice last night. He got his Houston shirt on. And of course, we got the genius, the statistician genius, the Chop Shop extraordinaire, Mr. Jim Hicks, Cheat Sheet RCS Sports. Fellas, all I got to say, I don't do the monologues. I leave that to you and Jimmy, specifically Hatter. LeBron James is all I got to say, and I'll let y'all have it.
Hey, Jimmy, you know what's so funny? We got a packed Women Rock Wednesday today. So Women Rock today. Jimmy, we got some sensitive subjects to talk about the young women and women. It's a lot of stuff that's happening in the news, Jimmy, and I'm finding I got a couple of more tidbits that we're going to add if you want to go there today. It's this Women Rock Wednesday. We're going to do our normal show, but women, it's some issues. We got to have, Jimmy, we got to have a fireside chat with the women. You follow me? We're going to have a fireside chat with them today. But what you got, Jimbo?
I mean, it's Women Rock Wednesday, guys. Shout out to all the ladies out there. And shout out to Venus Williams, pulling it off last night. Got on it. We got some feedback coming from somewhere.
That's Chris.
It's not me. I'm on mute. It might be Jimmy over there.
Yeah.
I hope
it might be you, Jimmy.
It could be. I hope not.
Yep. It's all right. We good.
Shout out, like I said, to Venus Williams, and shout out to her and the Lakers. I mean, hey man, that was really creative from the marketing department for the Lakers, and I'm expecting more teams to add that concept in there.
What happened? I'm missing something. What happened?
Not only Venus. Are you just talking about her because it's Women Rock Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. But the concept was during one of the dance routines, at maybe between the quarters or timeouts, they, the Laker girls come out and do a little routine, but they added 3 celebrities, well, 3 or 4, and one of them was Gronkowski, one of them was Venus Williams, and they was dressed and blended right in, or tried to blend right in.
Also, James Corden, the dude who be doing the car karaoke. Corden. Yeah.
And he was on there as well, and so it was kind of unique because what that does, you never know who's going to be the next surprise guest. So that adds adds a little, I guess more bang for your buck if you're buying a ticket to one of those games, which is kind of, like I said, it is cool. So, but shout out to her. But anyway, man, we let's get right into it on the female thing. We had a topic we promised to engage in this conversation on today, in pertaining to stemming from the recent Miami Dolphin who's cut, arrested after putting his hands on his 5-week-old baby, future pregnant girlfriend.
Yeah.
And so we went to, the sermon has been preached over and over about guys part. And so I thought about something from a different angle.
And Jimmy, do me a favor. Let me add, because I know you're finna go there. Let me add a little context that I found out a little bit, just a little bit more about Mark Walton. That's the kid's name. Because some people might not was on the show yesterday. And he was accused of beating up his pregnant girlfriend. The cops were called to his home at 4:14 in the morning. And they arrived on the scene. The woman apparently had bruises and swelling under her eye, and said he pushed her against the wall and punched her several times in the head. So he was arrested for aggravated battery against a pregnant person. That's a charge, which is a second-degree felony, Jimmy, punishable by up to 15 years in prison. And as soon as the Dolphins found out about it, they cut him immediately. He played 7 games for them. He's 22 years old. He played at the University of Miami, Jimmy. And it's not his first time, like you said so eloquently yesterday, with the law. He's been in trouble with the law 3 times this year. Jimmy, check this out, Chris Walker, and the Facebook page. He led a high-speed police chase and had to be subdued with had a taser to pursue him. He was lucky it was a taser, because he got out the car and tried to run from them police, and they could have shot him. Okay? And Jimmy,
man, what's wrong with this dude, man?
It's more. Jimmy, the reason I'm scared about this, because it's starting to sound like this kid, Joseph Randle. You remember the running back at the Dallas Cowboys, who started out getting in trouble when he stole some perfume and some underwear, and we said it was no big deal. And he had to get some professional help. So I just wanted to, people who weren't on the feed yesterday, I wanted to have some context before Jimmy give you this fireside chat, young women. Jimmy, you got the floor.
I mean, and so men, women out here, parents, I'm looking at, we see a pattern, and that is a lot of the females and these young females, it's the Instagram inspiring models, new positions and new avenues of advancing economically, or there's a perceived notion that there's a new means, which don't get it twisted. Some girls are getting paid off of posting their lives on social media. Yes. However, when you're meeting up doing so, in the quest of doing so, there's going to be guys that are going to express their desires and their likes and their appreciation or their fondness for those pictures or videos. Mm-hmm. So then goes to more the attention. You seek their attention, you get their attention. So now what's next? Well, what comes next is one of your daughters will hook up with one of these guys. They're not going to tell you every guy that they meet until you will learn when they feel deemed it is time for them to introduce you to them. Or if one of their other relatives let you know as a parent. Or if their social media life is public enough for you to put 2 and 2 together if you see a picture of her and that guy together. But by the time, my point is, by the time many of you parents meet them, it's probably too late. So guess what you do as a parent? You turn half groupie and you go along with it. But then it comes at a sacrifice. At some point.
Whoa. What sacrifice does it come at, Jimmy? The sacrifice of your daughter?
Yes, the relationship, and that's the point where the angle I'm going to, because it's easy for people back in the past to say, "Girl, don't you take that. I wouldn't let no man put his hands on me." Yes, absolutely, that's true. But then psychologically, do you understand? Like, this young man has been to jail. Mark Walton has been arrested 3 times this year, 4 now.
Why is he still with the Miami Dolphins? What culpability does how is Miami culpable for this? Because at the end of the day, Hatter, there's a whole lot of dudes that they can sign. Right or wrong, Hatter?
Chris, it's not fair. So
I'm just asking. I'm throwing it out there.
With your job, not your job, because you had a high profile job. So you're trying to say having a high profile job, you got to realize it's the league that will allow murderers and wife beaters and all of them people in the league, but they won't allow a guy who kneel for social injustice.
I was about to go there.
This is the same league, okay? Oh, so I'm not saying they're culpable, but this same league you're dealing with. Finish up. Let Jimmy finish up a little bit. Then we'll go into it. Okay.
Yeah. And so this guy was with this girl all through 2019. She's allegedly 5 weeks pregnant at the time of this incident last week, or the other night. Actually, it was late Monday night, early Tuesday morning. Well, here's my point. When guys, do you think this was his first time putting his hands on her? If he hit her while she's pregnant, knowing she's 5 weeks pregnant, do you think that was the first time?
No, absolutely not.
So we can proceed and say probably not. Let's say that it wasn't. So that means one of those times, this guy was suspended, serving a suspension actively already. He was in the midst, 2 weeks into a suspension by the Miami Dolphins. Mm-hmm. Right? So think about and paint this picture for you. When guys get aggressive toward females, a lot of the times, the males, after it's over with, in their personal process of atonement, they were halfway. Well, let's go to it. They will make the woman feel as though that she did something to trigger them, and it's her fault as to why he acted in such fashion. Okay, so now you see what his pattern is going. So then the girl was go to thinking, you know what? I did trigger him. It's my fault. You know what? He's sweet. People don't understand him.
Or he in the league. Let's call it what it is. I mean, like, I don't know what y'all, I don't know why y'all, this is the chop shop.
Okay.
This is the chop shop, Jimmy.
Hey,
this ain't Dr. Phil.
Jimmy
this knew not Dr. Phil.
Jimmy knew you was going to have a retort to it.
I'm saying this ain't Dr. Phil. This Dr. Leroy. Give us the Dr. Leroy version. Don't give us the Dr. Phil version, Jimmy. Hey. And I'm going to do like Hannah. And you may proceed. Go ahead on.
So, okay.
Give us Dr. Leroy.
Okay. So I'm just going right now. I'm going over some of the things that guys who have been physical with girls, some of the things that they say.
Okay.
I didn't mean to do this, baby, but these people, this NFL, these people they stressing me out. They messing with our money. The people don't understand us. You don't want to got my back. You down with me? It's me and you. We rock like that. People can't understand that. And then people get to stressing me out, man. I get to stressing. I don't know, man. The people, this stuff crazy. Things like that. A few tears come out their eyes. A few, I love you. Then guess what? Meanwhile, next day, go buy a Louis bag, go buy a Gucci bag, and a couple of kisses on the cheek is back to normal. The female, my point I'm getting to, is there a place in your family, if you have a daughter or a sister, do you have a system in place, a preventive maintenance system in place, that if this occurs to her, that she could come to you without feeling guilt or embarrassment? That's the question I'm asking you guys.
And Jimmy, I want to add some, because I know some, because I'm not going to mention names. I know of a high-profile situation. Young lady, she stopped dating a basketball player. Now she's dating a football player. Then I found out the basketball player was verbally abusing her. Jimmy, see, sometimes physical abuse is one thing. But verbal abuse, Jimmy, is just as it's not as physically damaging. But Jimmy,
that depends on who the person is, though, Hatter.
Okay, it could be.
You know what I'm saying? Hold on. That depends on who the person is.
It could be physically that. So, and then we'll look, well, she left for this one guy for another guy. But yeah, this dude was physically abusing her. And young girl. You know, I got to tell this story, Chris. You know, had a friend, okay, that flew his girlfriend in town. Check this out now. Flew his girlfriend. Let me just show you how stuff can happen. You know what? I'm not going to tell that story. I'm not going to tell that story. Jimmy, no, I can't. I'm just telling you how things can happen. Okay, let me show you how things can just happen. Young man flew his girlfriend out there. He used to flying his girls in, the next day flying them out. Okay? This particular day, girl said, "Oh no, you ain't getting done tonight. I'm gonna stay a whole night. You ain't flying me out in the morning." So guess what? They get into it. Okay? Jimmy, they get into it. So they get to arguing, got to arguing. The girl left. Now this dude got a big house now. The girl left. He walked all over the house. Guest house, everywhere, couldn't find the girl. Okay? It's true story. So guess what he do? Big house, big mansion. He go get his gun because he can't find the girl. All right? A lot of property. Late at night, you get his gun. So he looked for the girl. Still can't find the girl. He go into his garage. The girl is in one of his cars. Door locked. He knocked on the door. Knocked on the window. She looked up, opened the door, half asleep. He had a gun in his hand. So guess what she thinking? You trying to kill me? Let me tell you something. His agent had to get on the plane the next morning. Y'all never heard about that in the news. Never got in the news because of somebody. But what I was just trying to show you, how situations can just get out of hand. And if it wasn't for his agent getting to the girl, getting to the police department before this stuff escalated, that would have been an incident. I'm just showing you how incident things can happen. Okay.
Let me ask you a question. Mm-hmm. So what are we saying? Because you've been around a lot of pro athletes. Mm-hmm. And you've seen this stuff and you've had to handle just absolute, utter nonsense.
Yes, I have.
Right? Mm-hmm. And you've been to the clubs, you hung out with these guys, and you see the way women act around them.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. I'm not going to cast any aspersions on women because we all, think about Instagram, why it was made. And Jimmy sent us something the other day that $20 million is what, Jimmy, set aside for advertising on, you said something the other day.
For digital advertising.
So what does that mean? Before I go to that point, make this point with Hatter, what exactly does that mean? Mm-hmm. Jimmy?
What does it mean? That means
what does that mean?
Who spends it, Jimmy? Who spends it?
Yeah, who spends it? Well, how do you get it? Is it because you got so many followers? What is going on?
Corporations collectively, according to the analytics, are applying that towards digital advertising right now. So a social media advertising.
So it's big business.
So it's a growing business without question. No, don't get it twisted. I mean, it was spearheaded by the efforts of a Kim Kardashian a few years back, a decade or so ago, and now her siblings have capitalized on it, and so many other, young ladies out there and men alike, men as well. Yeah. And so if you get a certain amount of clicks or hits or likes, then guess what? You can you can get money off of that.
Okay.
And so that's what and it's kind of crazy because one time I asked, I see you see your daughters and your sisters, they all out, you at the restaurant and they're looking up and they got they know the angles and all that stuff.
Yeah.
They got the angles and they hitting it. And I'm like, I even ask, I'm asking sometimes, I say, what do y'all do? What's going on? Give me the logic. Help me connect the dots. And it was like, you don't understand. We never gets it. Remember that. When we talking to these young people, they have concluded that we just don't and won't get it, which is not true.
Which is definitely not true.
That's the funniest thing in the world. We don't get it, we won't get it. No, we get it. But at the same time, if you understand the logic. So she explained to me, the girls, I guess the end game is to go and you put pictures on the social media and the pictures, and guess what? They'll get likes and you can get more popular because that one guy or two or any type of particular guy that might be a celebrity or an athlete, that or an entertainer, they like your pictures, that they have a big following, and that mean their following will start to like you as well. It's a pyramid. But you're investing your personal into the pyramid scheme. And now, once the relationships is blind dates, you know nothing about these people, they know nothing about you, you hook up. Now you hook up in parting because now you done create a certain image on social media. You have to live in character with this person. And I'm just, guys, we have females in all our families that do this. So the thing is, what's the timetable? That's what I'm asking the female. How much time are you going to give? Because you can't possibly going to be clicking on there till you're 50 years old. So at what time, it's just a fad. You don't get it. You don't get it. No,
we get it. No, we get it.
So what do? You're going to get a guy, you give him the goods? You're going to sell the goods? What's your time? What's your plan? No, it ain't
and Jimmy, here's the thing, Jimmy. There's a threshold they all got to meet. Most of them ain't going to meet it. You're not going to meet it because you know what they're going to keep doing, Jimmy? The more people make money, they move the goalposts. Now you need this to get money. Now, because as people start meeting the demands, they're going to keep moving that goalpost to make you keep clicking. And all you're doing is making Instagram or whoever created it richer and richer. And again, the point I'm making as I pivot over is that I'm trying not to be insensitive, okay? But I'm not active on social media like I'm about to be because of business. Wow. But when I look at some of the pictures that these girls, I say, so tell me what she thinks people are going to think about her doing that. I get it. But what are you going to, like, it's the same way we punish these athletes because they don't care about going to school and all they do is care about getting to the league. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I get mad at them because, you got a chance to go to school and get a free education and not put your life in a $250,000 worth of debt before you even get a job, right? You worried about playing time, but yet we have these young ladies on Instagram just putting their bodies all out there and thinking like, well, what do you think? Of course you got more likes than me. You know what I'm saying? Of course they're going to look at you as a sex symbol. What are you promoting? And you want them to look at you any other way?
But Brashawn Vashuk said, Chris, but the men like it. Then turn around and complain about them. So what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Jimmy, I got another situation I want to add because this particular situation happened to be tragic. Drugs were found in the home of Washington Redskins player during a search after woman's apparent overdose. Him and his friend dropped her off at the hospital and she died. Popping mollies. And I would like to research further and figure out how this girl how they met this girl. Because if they just dropped out, they couldn't have a emotional attachment to this woman because they just dropped her off at the emergency room and left, Jimmy. So it couldn't have been Could this be a situation? I haven't researched it. Y'all help me out a little bit because I'm on the show trying to do the show. But I saw this, that she arrived at the hospital at 1:30 in the morning, unconscious and unresponsive. She died in the emergency room. And 21-year-old young woman. Let me repeat that. 21-year-old young woman. It's unbelievable to me that this stuff is happening just because, and I don't know, what if they met through the DM? Because I find it out, a lot of these players don't even talk to these girls on the phone. They talk through the DM.
They cowards. They ain't calling them. They already know. It's no different than some of these girls know that have come through H-Town, they've been through Vegas. And I'm not even throwing Jamie Foxx under the bus or any celebrities. Jamie Foxx don't talk to you. He sent his homeboy over there. It's the same as a DM, Jimmy. When they send their homeboy over there, that's like a DM. It's the same exact thing. These dudes know that all you want is what? The celebrity, the fame. They just people. And when those kids, I saw this thing on Michael Jordan and the new little breezy that he married, and the prenup she had to sign. I was like, oh my goodness.
Give us some.
Supposedly, she had to sign a prenup when she fought in the beginning. But of course, that ain't number like, no, you can't have it. No, you can have it. Yes, you can have it. That's what that's kind of like. She was going to eventually sign the prenup. You know that.
Yeah.
Right? She gets $1 million for every year they're married.
Okay.
So she ain't going nowhere.
Okay.
And I think I want to say she get $5 million for every baby. So, and after so many years,
I like that.
I forget, but my point is, at the end of the day, if you're going to do that, at least have a plan. If that's your goal, have a plan.
Jimmy, check what you just said out.
I'm just telling you, that's what, listen, Hatter, let me make this last point.
Okay, go.
Hatter, I'm trying to tell you, that is what the upper echelon of society does. Those girls that go to Villanova and Harvard, they going to school to meet a senator, to meet a billionaire. They're not going to school to get a job.
Jimmy,
do y'all understand what's going on out there?
Jimmy,
they don't go to Cornell. Am I talking, Hatter? Am I speaking sense, Hatter?
Jimmy, please do me a favor. Remind me to go back in my old messages, because I never erased a screenshot from my son. I screenshotted. Never forget, Princeton was playing Cornell. I'm driving. I get to Princeton. I'm going through my email through Cornell's Twitter. Young lady said, I'm headed to the Cornell-Princeton game to find my future husband.
Really?
I'm headed to the Cornell versus Princeton game to work and find my future husband. Unbelievable. I never forget it. I got to go back and get it, and I'm going to paste it on this Facebook feed for y'all. Chris is not lying. These women, think about this. Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones. She knew he was a philanderer. She knew he cheated on the woman before. Every time he cheat, he got to give her $5 million. Every time she catch him cheating, he got to put $5 million into her account. Every time. So back to this, I don't want to victim shame here, because I don't want to blame the women, because a man shouldn't put his hand on no woman, pregnant or not. But what Jimmy I think is trying to say, young women, love yourself more than you love these Instagram likes. Love yourself more than you want to be around one of these athletes. Because guess what, babe? Never forget, your homeboy from this area, Steve Jackson. Jacko was about to get married. Y'all hear about the wedding? That didn't ever happen.
No.
The wedding was supposed to be at the St. Regis over there. It was Ritz-Carlton back then, I think. And never forget it. Y'all ask him when y'all see him. 15 minutes before the wedding was starting, he gave her the prenup papers to sign.
The prenup.
The prenup to sign. 15 minutes.
Did she know about it though, Heather?
She didn't know about it.
Oh, Lord.
That's what she did, Chris. She said, no, this not going to happen. You can't give me this big old Bible 15 minutes before the wedding never happened. The wedding just turned into a party. They just partied. They spent all that money anyway. They just partied. It never happened, Chris Walker. Never happened. That young lady did not sign it. She did not sign the prenup. They never got married. Unbelievable.
Never got married.
Never got married. Not that day. Guess who was at the wedding? I was there. Hey, Chris, when I'm coming in, the Rev was walking out. The Rev said, it ain't going to be no marriage up there. The Rev said, that is not of God up there. I don't know what the hell. But it was a nice party. Turned out to be a great party. Wait, when y'all see Jacko, ask him about that. It's crazy.
Wow.
It's a crazy world. What you got, Jim?
Well, of course, I want to remind you guys as we pivot that topic. Of course, it's really, I thought it was really endearing, and hopefully it can motivate some of you guys and all of us. Put it like that. Yeah. So we ain't gonna talk from some of you guys. All of us to try to attempt to find a safe solution process if in the event that one of you, a female in your family, is the victim of domestic violence with their boyfriend or husband or whatnot, because that is, you don't want to end up in situations whereas you go to intervene, you go to whoop his ass, you end up in jail, they gonna end up back together.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Jimmy, I'm gonna tell you another thing. Should we just stop liking pictures? Because I know I don't. Or should we just stop? People just like pictures because they're depending on you and hoping that you just like it.
It's all right to like it, Chris. Just
what I'm saying is they're trying. What's that?
It's all right to like a picture. You don't have to beat her.
I'm not saying that, but we're also talking about another part of the problem that they're doing it. They're taking off less and less clothing to get more and more likes. And it's creating a problem for some of these young ladies.
No, it's not creating a problem, Chris. Man, we got to have
Hatter, when the last time you've been on Instagram, Hatter? Hatter, when the last time you've been on Instagram? Do you understand what's going on out there?
I like Instagram.
Oh, my God. There you go, boy.
I like Instagram.
Okay. To your little niece get on there. To your granddaughter get on there showing everything. You're gonna lose your mind.
My daughter on there. I like Instagram. That don't mean she can be on Instagram all she wanna. You can't put your hand on her, Chris. You can. Hey, Chris. I got this saying, Chris. When I go see them young girls like that, I tell them I'm just window shopping, baby. I ain't buying nothing. I'm just looking at the window. I'm not buying nothing. And that's what you have to be. You can't touch. You just can't touch. Chris, let me tell you something. And Chris, I know you like to touch. I know you don't have no self-control. I know. But Chris, I'm not blaming them girls. Them girls said, man, I like it. I'm going to get on Instagram. I'm going to be Playboy, Playgirls get naked. But you got to realize, though, this society has changed. Let me show you why. I remember a long time ago, Chris, when a girl worked in the strip club, you go in there, guess what she said? You ain't seen me. You don't know who I am. You ain't seen me in it. Don't you tell nobody I work in it. Now they got websites. Now they got T-shirts. I'm a
Cardi
stripper.
B.
I'm a stripper. Times has changed, Chris. Jimmy, what you think?
Well, because their titles have changed. They're not, are they still called strippers? Aren't they called something?
No, they're not called strippers. Had it 75 years old. They're not called strippers no more.
Exotic
dancers.
Exotic entertainers.
Entertainers.
Yes.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
don't they entertain? Am I not entertained? Are you not entertained?
I mean, but so that's the ticket, man. I mean, we
Yeah,
guys,
we can go. We can go on
let's,
forever. We can go on
let's try
forever.
to go and just find a way. This stuff is happening out there. Far too many of our females out there getting or falling into these situations where they feel trapped, and it repeats the process. And that means if they, we just got to find a way to solve it.
We got to find a way. Yeah.
Without before it's too late in many situations.
Before it's too late.
Now, speaking of a situation, last night University of Houston found themselves in a situation over at Rice before going on a 19-0 run to pick up a much needed road win, 97-89. The Cougars took care of Rice, and guess what?
How many of my boys here?
Rice 2 weeks ago on the Chop Shop, and Rice proceeded. They responded to their best start in the Scott Pera era.
Sure did.
They were 4-1 going into the game last night with the Cougars. They hadn't been that good. Remember, we said one of the things they got to do is just keep winning. Now, this was a winnable game for Rice. This was a game they could have won. And many within that program probably feel they should have won. But however, one guy who stepped up for University of Houston, not to mention the fact that Fabian White had 12 rebounds, 8 points, former Tassacita star. But Quentin Grimes, 32 points, 11 for 17 from the field. He was 4 for 6 from three-point land, right? 9 rebounds, 5 assists in the win.
Jimmy, do me a favor, because I got somebody else that's on this show, but I'm not going to call his name, but his name starts with Chris Walker. Jimmy, could you please tell me those one more time? Let's just give them to me one more time.
Quentin Grimes for University of Houston at 32 points.
Okay.
Right, on 11 for 17 shooting.
Okay.
He was 4 for 6 from three-point land.
Okay.
9 rebounds.
Man.
He had 5 assists.
5.
There go. Hey, listen, you see what shirt he has on today, Jimmy? You see what shirt he's wearing? You see what shirt he's wearing right now?
Don't hate me because I got you. Hey, excuse me. I got both of y'all a shirt, but I know you ain't gonna wear it, so I'm gonna give both of them to Jimmy.
Make sure you have that same shirt when Memphis come to town.
I can't wait. Hey, do me a favor, y'all. Hey, do me a favor. Hey, don't tell my son I wore this shirt. That's all you gotta do.
Because you know why? I know why you don't want to tell me you wore that shirt. I was at that game.
Hey man, you got one more in that outburst, man. Hey, Quinn Grimes, Chris Walker. No, not Chris Walker. Some people had tend to say he's too soft. He's too soft.
Why you put my name in it?
I said some people, I ain't call your name. Some people called me the other day and had me drinking the Kool-Aid. Talking about, Hatter, you might have to rethink that. Thank you, Quinn Grimes. If anybody on the Chop Shop see Quinn Grimes today, please tell him Robert Hatter said, thank you, sir.
So, guess what? So I had a guy ask me the question last night.
Okay.
And, of course, you just told the Chop Shop. We're talking college basketball now. We will get into some high school basketball.
Yeah, we got to talk about high school.
College basketball right now and get into some recruiting stuff right now. So one of the guys asked me, and you know what? A lot of times when people may come up and ask questions like this, I've grown over the years to, something I used to deem as that's a stupid ass question. But now some people really don't have the capacity to understand a lot of the intricacies of recruiting as the next person. So some people really be asking for verification or to validate or to ask you to get some intel to go back and fight another battle, a conversation that they may have with other people. So here's what the question was. Last night, there was a young man at University named Marcus Sasser. He's a freshman. He's a true freshman. Come out of the Dallas area, right?
Is that Sasser's son or brother?
Gerald
Sasser. It's got to be.
I'm not sure.
Gotta be some
they some kin. Nephew. They in that family. I saw the article in the paper. They're in the family. He's in the family.
So he played 36 minutes. He starts alongside Quentin Grimes at University of Houston. This freshman played 36 minutes last night. He played 36 minutes last night. You follow me? He had 15 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, only 1 turnover. A great stat line for a freshman coming into the system. So the guy asked me at this point, Quentin Grimes, Marcus Sasser, they just signed 2 guards out of this class, right? This 2020 class. And Tremont Mark, kid from out of Dickinson High School, and also Jamal Shedd, a young man out of the Austin.
Nice. Yeah, good player.
So the guy asked me, here's where the question came. He says, with those guards, how is Tremont Mark gonna play next year? I say, wait a minute.
The same way this dude playing.
I say, why did you single out and say, why is Tremont Mark gonna play next year? How is he gonna play? I say, first of all, let me explain something to you. Coach Kevin Sampson did not initially recruit Tremont Mark as a point guard. He was recruited as an off guard, as a combo, as a guard that when you get there, you figured out where the best,
he's a basketball player.
But then upon seeing him at Top 100 camp, as Coach Sampson mentioned, and Bilal explained to us, and we heard Kevin Sampson say it himself, he saw him at Top 100 camp, and Tremont led the camp for the most of the way. He led the camp in assists.
That don't mean you're a point guard, though, but keep going.
No, that don't mean, but then, that team, you had to be there to see it. He was alongside Vernon Maxwell.
Point guards are born, not made, but keep going.
No, but understand, but still though, nowadays you got
he's capable, Jimmy, is what you're saying. He's capable.
Being serviceable at that position.
So then he started to look at him in a different, and with those eyes to say, well, maybe he can come in and now he has more options as for Tremont Mark. First of all, so my thing is, bottom line, when you get to that level, you're going to figure it out. Either you're going to get it, figure it out, or you ain't.
Hey, listen, man. Jimmy, we talked about this earlier, Jimmy. How many guys are going to play, Jimmy? Jimmy, is my science project, are you realizing my science project got a lot of weight to it, right or wrong?
You're getting that.
Every college team has a rotation of about 8 players. 8 players top. That don't mean 4 people won't get in off the bench. That don't mean that. That means that the core, if you look at the minutes, the double-digit minutes will be allotted to probably, on the average, about 3 of those guys off the bench. So just because you second string in practice don't mean your ass getting on the court. Hell, in some cases, the scout team gonna sweat more than the second string.
Right.
So now the theory, Chris, you was explaining your theory. You can break it down. You can elaborate on in college basketball, especially Division I basketball. Take out the blowouts.
Yeah.
Blowout games are there for reasons. They're money games, and also the money. Those games you see on the schedules, it provides an opportunity for some coaches to play some of those freshmen or some of those rarely used players. You ever thought about that? When you see that schedule and you see those games, U of H play Alabama State, then you realize those games of used, who that Prairie View played the other night, those games are used primarily, of course, to be able to give your team a chance to just get some more work done. You're helping another coach out there who's a friend or something with their economy. And guess what? Also, you can keep them parents, them mammies and them pappies happy by playing their baby early into the season. Because they get the conference play. Chris, what's going to happen to get the conference play?
Let me tell you something. They won't drop a sweat. The only sweat they're going to get is drinking it from the water or getting out of the way when the refs fall into them when the play is being played. But let me say this, Jimmy and Hatter, and even to parents out there. And there's a lot of games that are being played right now. Jimmy mentioned something. Again, this is Chop Shop, so we keep it 100. I remember King McClure. Remember King McClure, Jimmy? Remember all that hype that he had coming out of high school?
Daddy wrote a book. I got the book. I read
Unbelievable. And when he got there, what happened, Jimmy? He did what?
Red shirted.
That wasn't the script. People got to understand. You know how many, I know where all the bodies are buried. Hannah, do you know how many stories that I have heard when kids are freshmen, sophomores, and juniors and seniors about what their kid is going to do? And a question like, well, where's Tramon Mark going to play? The real question should be, well, where's the dude that's playing 36 minutes this year? Where's he going to play next year? That's a valid question too. You got to understand that, because before they draft guys, but let me tell you something. Even in the NBA, somebody played those 36 minutes of game that R.J. Barrett is playing right now. Mm-hmm. Right or wrong, Howard?
That's right.
Somebody played those minutes. And it didn't dawn on them that they weren't going to play when R.J. came. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to take it even a step further, Jimmy and Hatter. I remember, and if anybody could Google this and pull it up, Hatter, I'd love to put it on the screen. There was a video that was done when LeBron James was coming out of high school, and they were interviewing all the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? And all those guys were saying, man, that dude can't come in this league and do that. They do, every last one of them. Do you remember that?
Ricky, what is his name? Ricky something?
That was a Darius Miles?
No, Ricky.
Oh, my God.
His name Ricky.
I don't know, but every last one of them was saying, oh, man, please, a high school kid can't come here and do this. A high school kid can't come here and do that. I mean, every last one of them. And that dude went in there and sat all of them dudes on the bench, man. See, as Jimmy always say, they print the retraction where, Jimmy? Where do they print the retraction? On the back page.
Hey, Jimmy, do me a favor, right? Why every conversation?
No. Stop it.
Why every conversation we talk about, that guy right there have to bring up LeBron James.
The best.
Chris.
Because he's the best. No, I only said that to get you going. But I'm talking about how people don't understand how minutes work.
Hey, Gary Carter told me. Ricky Davis said that. Chris Walker, that's who said that.
But they interviewed a lot of guys in that snippet. I remember seeing it. He wasn't the only one, but yes, he was the main one. He wasn't the only one. And what I'm saying is, to that parent or that person that says, where's Tramon Mark going to play? He should be asking what a guy that's playing 36 minutes a game going to play. Because that's fair too. Because you know what happens? It's like dominoes, right? When the guy domino, what do? When they domino and they count all the stuff up, what do, Jimmy? They reshuffle the deck again. They put him back in the middle and they set him up again. That's what happens in college basketball.
Gotcha.
When the year's over, they'll turn them over. Hey, man, it's your time to wash the dishes. That's how it works in college basketball.
But I happen, hey, let me give you some context. I happen to go to the BYU game. Okay? All right? The game they lost. Somebody was sitting next to me telling me how good Sasser was because he hit a lot of shots on the game before. I think they played a HBCU. U of H played an HBCU.
Alabama State, I thought he was.
He hit a lot of points. But he shot air balls when them grown white boys was coming at him. And he got set on that bench go look at his stats at the BYU game. And
7 minutes. He only played 7 minutes against BYU.
He shot an air ball, Jimmy. Soon as he come, he wasn't ready for that game. That game was too intense. So he come back against Rice and played well. So that's why I had to give some little context to this thing. That's what happens with freshmen, y'all. The best, Jimmy, hey, Chris Walker, I learned this, Chris, and then you can answer. A wise coach told me this, Robert. The best thing about a freshman, he becomes a sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chris, you can go now.
What I was going to say was, guys, they earn it in practice. No matter what, as I said, they reshuffle the deck, not even after the season, but sometimes they reshuffle the deck after games.
Okay.
They go back and evaluate, especially this time of year. It sometimes the game and the pace dictates who does what. Foul trouble, schemes. If they're playing you a zone, this guy's job may be to heavily on defense. There's a lot that goes into a scouting report. So unless you're an apex scorer like a Quentin Grimes, who should be their leading scorer and score a lot of points, a lot of other guys, particularly freshmen, have roles. I was looking at Montavious Murphy's minutes from Kansas State. I'm assuming he's hurt because he didn't play last game. He's playing 29 minutes a game. But if you look at his points per game, he's not scoring. But you know what that means? He must be a guy that's a glue dude. So anybody looking at his points production, and if they could be looking at it and misguided, he might be out there because he's one of the 5 guys that ain't trying to shoot it every time he touch it. So you got to get inside that program. Kelvin Sampson is a mad genius. You can't deny what Kelvin Sampson has built at U of H, because I was there doing games on CBS when it was only the 3 of us watching the games in the gym. And I was telling Kelvin Sampson to his face, man, they should just stop putting y'all games on CBS. This is embarrassing. To now seeing where it's sold out. I saw it in the beginning, what it was, Jimmy. And I see what it – again, people, I'm telling you, man, people are unbelievable, man. They have short memories. All them people in this city, Jimmy and I was talking about before, they was talking all that smack about their kids and what they were going to do, and then they go sit on the bench or they transfer and they blame everybody in the world. Hey, let's get some of them to come on the Chop Shop and talk about it. But they don't want to do that because they print the retraction on the back page. They make all the accusations on the front page now. College coaches don't know what they're talking about. Jimmy don't know what he's talking about, right? They mistreat my baby. They showing favoritism. And then when they get to college, and the colleges treat them the same way. Matter of fact, Jimmy, when they get in the world treats them the same way. You ever see those people that complain about their job? They was probably complaining about playing time. They was probably complaining about the coach. I guarantee you, it's a pattern. Winners don't complain, Hatter. You hear what I just said? Winners don't complain, man. The dude that get all the playing time, he don't complain. He got a different type of complaint.
He don't transfer either.
And he don't transfer either.
Unless he went to Westfield High School.
That's wrong, man. You need to.
I didn't call no names.
You messy. And listen, and when you get 45 points, and you got 2 high majors playing on your high school team, you ain't supposed to be 0-2. Okay? Ooh. You ain't supposed to be 0-2, Hatter.
Oh, wait a minute.
Say something now. You're not supposed to be 0-2 when you got 2 Big 12 players on your team.
So let me go and give you guys, since we're going there, but we transcend.
Keep whistling, Hatter.
High school basketball action right last night around the area. A triple overtime thriller took place out at Shadow Creek High School. That's located in the Pearland area of Houston. And the number 1 ranked player in the area, LJ Cryer, and his Martin Ranch, and also Eddie Lampkin, who's ranked number 4. And the Martin Ranch team went over to Shadow Creek, and Shadow Creek prevailed in overtime. The score was 81-75. LJ Cryer, in the process, he produced 45 points in the loss.
It's a lot of points.
Eddie Lampkin, only 4 points in the loss. Now, this means Martin Ranch, they lost at the season opener, remember, to Yates High School the other night on Saturday evening. And
I might get out a mulligan, Jimmy. I might get out in a mulligan.
Well, his fact still remains that Martin Ranch is 0-2 for the first time in the LJ Cryer era. So now here's the thing that I'm going to present you guys, and I think it's all fairness. And I remember when a couple of years back, when Quentin Grimes was in high school, and Quentin Grimes would score 30s, 40s, and don't get the W, he was held accountable by many within the greater Houston area. So my question is, at what point do LJ Cryer has to be held accountable for sacrificing the point, turning some of those points into W's? Because all eyes point towards Martin Ranch will be playing in the Pasadena tournament this weekend, which is a grueling tournament. Every team must play 5 games. And the way this thing goes is 24 teams in the top bracket. They call it Division I. And there's 24 in the Division II bracket, which are not so good as teams for the most part. Well, if you play 2 pool games, the winner of each pool, only one winner goes into the gold bracket. Not many people really care about the silver and the bronze. But when you go into that gold, no matter what bracket you go in, you will play 3 bracket games. It's like an 18 bracket, not those 18 guaranteed 3-game type brackets. So that means for many people, you come into this thing and you win your pool. That's first. And this is the only tournament in the state that actually reseeds the teams after pool play. I say that again. You play your 2 pool games, and whoever wins, there's 8 winners of the 8 different pools. Those 8 teams go into a bracket, but they don't determine the matchups until about 10 o'clock Thursday night. So that means, they try to balance it off, which they do a decent job at doing so. At first, it used to be kind of wacky. But my point is this. 5 games of grueling teams. There's some really good teams in this doggone tournament this weekend. A team could easily go 1-4. And at that point, or 2-3. At that point, you're limping out of the weekend. You get 1 practice, or maybe 2. On Wednesday, Martin Ranch has to play Dickinson at the Hoops Giving Classic. That's Tremont Mark, LJ Cry, head-to-head. That's what fans want to see.
Again.
Again. They met on opening day a year ago at the Campbell Center.
And they met in the Super 16s, too.
Yeah, they met unofficially during fall ball at the Super 16. As a lot of these kids played unofficially during the fall season or the non-scholastic season. But my point is this. Martin Ranch, those guys, we knew that they're not deep on the bench. Hopefully the football team is still in the playoffs. Hopefully they have some type of reinforcement because they need some extra muscle coming from the football field. If they don't, then one of the coaches might need to go and consider going and getting out some team.
What are you talking about, Jimmy?
Chris,
what are we talking about here?
Can I interject something here? Because Chris made a statement. Chris made a great statement, and then Jimmy came back and compounded it. Chris said, Robert, a 0-2 with 2 Big 12 players on their roster. Didn't you say that, Chris?
I did.
Okay, then Jimmy came back and said, at some point, LJ Cryer is going to be held. I got to be held to a standard. Chris mentioned 2 players. Jimmy came back and mentioned 1 player. When is Eddie Lampkin going to be held accountable? Because as Chris so eloquently said, both of them are going to the Big 12. I know LJ Cryer is the number 1 player in the city, but isn't Eddie the number around the 4, 3, 4, 5 in that area too? So no excuses, because you're right. Ain't nowhere in the world I'm going to score 30, 45 and not going to finish it at all in 3 overtimes against Shadow Creek. There's no way it's going to happen to me.
Hold on, the game went 3 overtimes?
3 overtimes. 3 overtimes. And I'm just trying to figure out, when is a guy, and you said 4 points, Jimmy. They sent me a thing saying 2 points. I sent you, some said 4 points. They resent me, scored 2 points. So when, Chris, I just want to make when do we hold our biggest guy who went down to the Super 100, Jimmy, the top 100 count, and showed out for a day and went viral? When we gonna see some point? Because I want this kid to be great.
Which kid?
Eddie Lampkin. He's going to TCU. I saw him had a picture with Marcus Sloan and the TCU coach, Tony Benford, the other night. When you can't come in a building, just like you said, LJ's gonna be held accountable. I want him to be held accountable. But we got to hold the other guy accountable too, because Chris said it earlier. He Big 12 too. Let's go. I'm sorry.
Well, and I'm reading some of the comments, and now your question is, when does Eddie Lampkin be held accountable? First and foremost, is LJ Crier's team. So that's the mantle. That's like if the Lakers experience turbulence, people ain't gonna blame Anthony Davis.
What?
They gonna blame LeBron James first.
They gonna blame LeBron first.
It's more of a story to blame LeBron. It's definitely more of a story, right?
Okay.
It's more of a story.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now, don't get it twisted. Eddie Lampkin is not without blame, but the first layer is going to go downhill because, and then it's kind of unfair because you're saying, damn, a kid scored 45. He went guns a blazing, and that's one of the things I say. If you're gonna get beat, at least get paid.
You should. Yeah.
Oh,
get
that's
your money. Get
my
your money.
thing.
Yeah.
You're gonna get beat. You better get paid. You better get paid if you're gonna get beat. But it ain't like nobody goes out there and plan to lose a game.
Right.
So now it gets to a point. It's kind of like with the Rockets at some point with James Harden.
Okay.
At some point, you got to find a way to sacrifice some of those possessions.
Jim,
Jim,
I beg to differ, because think about it. On James Harden team, James Harden don't have another supposing star on the team.
What?
I don't.
He got an MVP. What are you talking about?
No. I'm talking about before. I ain't talking about since.
He had a Hall of Famer. He's always had a Hall of Famer on the side.
I'm talking about before Russell.
He had Chris Paul. He had
Chris Paul gonna be in the Hall of Fame.
He had Chris Paul. If Chris Paul don't get hurt before Game 5, then what the hell?
But Chris Paul was Chris Paul playing like a star?
A couple years ago he was.
Forget that. So I got a question. So you saying, like my coach used to tell me, tell the other guys on the team who complain about me shooting too much. Guess what he told them, Tyrone earlier? They said, does Hatter miss some? He said, yeah. He said, well, consider every one of his misses a pass to your ass. Go get the rebound and go get the rebound. And
man, get your high school coach on the chop shop. I want to hear him say that.
Consider every pass, every miss he missed. Consider that. That's all I'm saying, man. Let me tell you something. I just told you, if I scored 45, I'm trying to win that game.
He had Dwight Howard too before that.
He's terrible.
He's a Hall of Famer, Hatter.
Hey, all I'm telling you, Jimmy, it was good for the goose is good for the gander. But you're right. LJ should get the bulk of the blame. But
and guess what? And LJ can handle it, but at the same time, in the same breath, Eddie Lampkin.
Okay.
If you only scored 2 points, in this game, and you played,
I don't know how many minutes,
the
entire load or most of the way, you didn't play significant, meaningful minutes, then that's.
Can I just say one thing, guys?
Yeah, I like to hear from a college coach.
It's harder for big guys in high school, but that don't excuse him, because every time there's a miss, he can go get a rebound.
Chris,
but let me just say what Marcus Sloan said first.
If you're on here,
I hear you, but I've seen bigs get neutralized all the time. I agree with you, but bigs get neutralized in high school. But let me just, I'm just gonna read more. I'm not making any excuse for Eddie Lampkin. Like I said, I started this thing saying you got 2 Big 12 players, you shouldn't be losing in high school. I'm gonna say, hey, the TCU grad has spoken. I was waiting for him to surface.
Okay.
And he has spoken.
And I want to hear it.
Eddie is coming off meniscus scope in September. He needs to get in better shape. Until he's healthy and in shape, LJ shoot all the balls. Ooh.
He should shoot all the balls.
No. He said, LA should shoot all the balls. That's what he said. LJ should shoot all the balls.
But guess what?
Understand,
and that makes sense to me, because I was a dude like LJ Cryer. I was shooting all the balls. I didn't care what nobody thought.
No, he said he should.
He ain't say should.
And guess what?
I'm telling you, I would tell my players I should shoot before
So I got something for you. I got something for both of you, especially you, Mr. College Coach. You know, you're a college coach and you want to defer to Marcus Sloan.
No, I'm reading what he said.
But okay, but you deferred to him. You deferred to him. But I got something for you. I got something for you. If he's injured, then just don't play.
Ooh, now you know how I feel about that.
If he's hurt, he just got to get in shape. That's all I'm saying. Because I want him to succeed. He had a signing sermon. Eddie, I think Eddie want to be great.
It's harder for big guys,
Jimmy
man.
told me something. But then guess what we should have been saying? He had every rebound, unless LJ didn't miss a shot.
Well, that's a different conversation.
Okay, well, I'm just adding some that, since you're talking about Sloan, bring this up. He should have had every rebound that came off the dang rim. How about that?
Well,
how many rebounds do we have? Do we know?
That's fair enough, and I'm going to find out from the coach at Martin Ranch what's the official tab on the rebounds. Do you remember last year we had they had different unofficial rebound stat keepers that was suspected that was fabricating sub stats, and so and I addressed this last season. So I'm getting, when it comes to this team now, because I know personally, now one thing I do know from the Yates High School game, those stats were taken by a college coach and the staff of the University of St. Thomas. Those stats are 99% accurate.
We need them stats, Jimmy. We need them stats, by the way. But I'll tell you about that later. I need them stats.
And so here's the thing.
I need them stats.
Jimmy, I posted them on the RCS Sports on yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah. Everybody can
with minutes played though, right? You got minutes played and accurate. I need them stats. Jimmy.
Daktronic, which is the I guess the groundbreaker in the statistic. That's what a lot of the colleges and stuff use, that stat until recent developments in technology. Now, here's my thing I'm going to get to.
Okay, help me out.
And Sloan, by the way, we all wish you a happy belated birthday to Chop Shop.
PBS.
And the reason on the health. Here's the thing. I always pay notice. That's why receipts are good to have. And if that's the case, you don't start off the season against a more talented team, and that's Yates High School, and you put up a double-double. So you set the stage of expectation.
Different type of game, man. Jimmy, Yates is all about possessions, bunch of layups. It's a different type of game.
Chris, still rebounds.
Doug said he had 8, Jimmy.
Eight what?
Rebounds.
Doug 8 rebounds last night.
Rebounds.
So 8 rebounds last night. That's serviceable. That's solid.
Not in a loss.
I expect double digits, a double-double from Eddie. See, different people got different expectations. We're not gonna go in this thing and play. You played 26 minutes against Yates, and that's a track meet. That means you can damn sure handle a jog if you're running sprints, chasing Yates across the court for 26 and a half minutes. And I'm not getting on. Listen, understand something.
But Jimmy, they lost. They got 2 Big 12 players. They lost. They shouldn't be losing. I'm sorry.
That's great.
Well, guess what? No, Shadow Creek is very good.
They're very good.
Shadow Creek was without three starters, they say.
Without 2 for sure. Sean Jones got hurt at the season opener.
That's right.
So he's out for 2 weeks. Then Kevin Jones is a star quarterback. He's a starter. They're in the football.
They got another guy that's out. They got another guy that's out.
And they still lost.
And the point guard, I'm not counting the point guard because I don't think he's coming all the year, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So he doesn't count. You can't miss another hand.
Somebody just posted it. That's why I said it.
So let's not, that's like you're not going to get him. You're getting those other 2 guys. But so my thing is that's why we spent so much time on this game and explaining. And Eddie is not the only person in the city. I'm just saying, when you're on the front cover, expectations, you don't go more past.
There you go.
You've been anointed as a cover guy.
I got you.
And if we in the city going to go and keep giving excuses when guys get on the front cover.
Jimmy, somebody just brought up, I guess he was at the game, Clarence Harris, he's always over there. He said LJ looked hurt. So he scored 45 points looking hurt. I'd hate to see him when he was healthy then. But keep going, Jimmy. But yeah,
can you talk about? Let's pivot for a second. Can you talk about what you told me? I don't know. Can we talk about this? What happened at Westbury Christian, and how it relates to the way people look? I mean, we got to talk about that, man. That got me fired up this morning.
Now, let's get right into the Westbury Christian situation. But first, I want to make sure I added something into this before we can move from that other topic. I mean, I mentioned a while ago, Eddie is not the only person in the city that had a subpar, that's a top 5 player in the area and had a very subpar game. The other player is a young man in the 11th grade. Lamar High School played Clear Lake High School last night. There's a kid, Sir Isaac Heron, right? Sir Isaac is about 6'9", right? He's lean, he's a forward. And this young man scored 2 points in the first quarter. Didn't score another point until the fourth quarter. He finished with 6 points, 2 field goals, 2 free throws. 6 points and a loss. Understand something. Chris, when you come back to H-Town tomorrow, we'll slide by Lamar High School. You just we'll do a drive-by. They got a brand new school building.
I saw it.
Last night was the debut of their new gym.
And he had 2 points.
That gym is humongous.
Really?
They have 3 regulation courts in that one gym. Right? So check it out.
What neighborhood is that?
River Oaks, man. River Oaks.
What neighborhood is that? I'm just saying, what neighborhood is that? And what high school is it? What high school is it across the street from?
An Olympic-sized swimming pool I went to look at last night. They had a swim meet going on. I ducked in there. Olympic-sized swimming pool with a separate pool to dive in for diving competition indoors at the new Lamar High School.
Gentrification.
A 4-level parking garage for the students. Now, we got you. Sir Isaac Harris at 6 points. That's my point I'm getting to. Once again, he's top 5. That's unacceptable. That's the thing.
Harder for big guys, man. Harder for big guys. Chris, I'm just telling y'all, guards control high school basketball. Guards control high school basketball.
No. The stars control high school basketball.
I'm just telling you, the big guy needs somebody to pass him the ball.
The stars.
They can triple. I'm just telling you.
If you're the star on that team, dude gonna get you the rock. And guess what?
Man,
or you gonna find a way to leak out there on the perimeter, and you're gonna take matters into your own hands. You the star of that team. You're gonna take a gamble or 2 on yourself. That's all I'm saying. So now, Westbury Christian High School. If you guys missed the news, of course, remember the founder of the Houston Hoop Stars grassroots program about almost 15, 20 years ago. Keith White. He was a volunteer assistant coach at Westbury Christian High School. And last month, something happened where he got fired from the volunteer assistant after discretions allegedly from one of the former players on the team, of talented freshman and his family, and who transferred out. And part of their grief was stemmed around Keith White and his ideology about where to place the young man, on the inside or the outside. Keith White has been known for one of the guys that works out big men, has big man camps for the last few years around the area, and has become very popular. He was also the summer coach of former McDonald's All-American Cameron. What's Cam last name?
Big Cam. UT.
From Bush High School in class of 2012.
And Jimmy Fabian White from the University of Houston.
And Fabian White, who played last night at U of H, had 12 rebounds, 8 points in that big win over Rice. So now, Keith White fired as a volunteer assistant. And hold on, you fire him, but the kid still transfers out.
Unbelievable.
So
how can you fire a volunteer person?
No, you can fire him, Hatter. You can fire an intern. I mean, he just wasn't making any money. He was working with his kid that he used to coach. I'm assuming, right, Jimmy? He used to coach the kid. That's the head coach. But Jimmy, you're not telling them why. Tell them what the kid wanted to play on the perimeter. Tell them what the issue was over, and then transfer that into. I'm sorry, take that over to people thinking that you can fool college coaches by putting a tall guy on the perimeter when he shouldn't be out there, and instead of just putting him where he can be effective. And then you fire the coach and then you still leave.
But maybe the guy, hold up, Chris Walker, I'm finna make you eat your words. Maybe the guy don't want to be on the perimeter so he can get the ball. Coach, you just so eloquently said, big guys don't pass the big guys the ball in there. Maybe that guy heard you run your mouth and said, hold on.
Hatter. He's not going to get the ball when he's playing with a dude shooting every time he touches it, going 45. He's definitely not going to get the ball.
All I'm telling you, you just said, Chris, big guys, they develop different. They don't get the ball. So guess what? Maybe the young man said, you're not going to put me down there because Mr. Chris Walker said, if I get down there, I won't get the ball. Maybe.
Zero. That's not what I said. You're misinterpreting it. I say it's tougher for bigs because they can't pass the ball to themselves. But just because you touching the ball on the perimeter don't mean it's good for the team. So, Hatter, you can have a guy 6'9" on the perimeter. You're going to put a guy 6'2" at center so you can appease a parent? And then the parent even leaving anyway?
That's what Byron Rim did. Byron Rim put a 6'3" dude at 5, and they won.
Boy, you'll find any way to make a point right, boy.
He just said it on our show a day ago.
Hey, listen, man. A clock is right. A broke clock is right twice a day, brother. Come on now.
I love it. Let me give you a try.
But Jimmy, tell the story though, Jimmy. Why are we talking about this, Jimmy?
Hold up. Okay, go. But I just want to have a nice cold beverage in honor of Potbelly Sloan's birthday. Now, Jimmy, carry on.
Boy. Now, of course, you're talking about the Westbury Christian thing and the Key White. So now this young man is transferred. My thing is, you lost a volunteer coach who actually has been a long time mentor of your current head coach, Trey Guidry, right? I mean Tyler Guidry played for the Houston Hoop Stars when he was at Westbury Christian himself. So Key White was actually the mentor and helpful in the development of this coach. Was basically gonna sit on the bench and help him out. Now, my thing is, you fired him as a volunteer. You still lost the kid. Something just don't smell right about this.
Jimmy,
too many folk are too quiet.
Jimmy, you were talking. Sloan said it was some internal issues. I think that's what you're getting to.
It just don't smell right.
It was some internal issues.
They didn't pay their check, like they didn't pay the bill. Internal how?
It was some internal issues with some of the other kids and Tyler
and the young man he transferred
on the team.
It
was more than that. It was a lot more than that. It wasn't that I don't like Keith White and I'm leaving. No, it was more than that. So Chris,
I'd like to know what it was, because
everything ain't your business, man.
No, this is the chop shop. So if Sloan gonna come in there and say it was internal, what was internal? Because what we're saying internal is you want to play whatever position you want instead of helping the team win. That's an internal issue too.
I don't think that was it, Chris. I don't think that was it.
Somebody confirmed that's not what it was then. Okay. That it was something else.
But guess what? You heard that. Wherever you got it, you heard it because you don't live here, right? Sloan just told you something, and I'm telling you something.
I want Sloan to clarify.
Sloan, clarify. Clarify, Cole.
Please clarify. Anyway, keep going. What you got, Jim?
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, now that also around the area last night, guess what? Another shocker. Well, once again, I want to mention another player that Herb reminded me about, and I've heard about it last night. Ashton Smith. He's from Nimitz High School. He's 6'9".
I like that.
Played DJ Anderson in the summer team. And here's the thing. Mm-hmm. And it wouldn't be so bad if so many guys wouldn't prematurely anoint the kids. You see?
What you mean by prematurely?
Ant-Man.
What you mean by?
On this front cover,
Right.
they all 12th graders. They're all 12th graders right here. So that means this ain't premature. This the last lap around the track. That means now you're held accountable 12th grade. So now
Their body of work got them. Their body of work over the last 3 years got them on this cover. That's what you're saying. Okay.
Yes.
I got you.
It happened in layers.
Okay.
So now Ashton Smith, we heard so much Ashton Smith, and guess what? University of Houston offered him a Division I scholarship, a committable Division I scholarship. Kevin Sampson, them and the staff, they like him, but understand something, and I have to go and explain to people that are privy to the are not totally grasping. Everybody that get a Division I offer doesn't mean that you are being offered to play. Some people are offered because they have the position available, and they can possibly.
What does that mean? What does that mean? What do you mean by that?
Don't you offer some kids know you're gonna redshirt them?
Oh yeah. Okay, I see. I wanted you to clarify that. Okay, that's what you mean.
Exactly what that means. That means he would be offered at University of Houston with under the primary thought, unless he develops at an unexpected exceeding pace, he will be redshirted, which is okay. It's okay. But at the same time, they know he hasn't made it. The University of Houston is going to need a body in the front court. Need a body to develop.
What's wrong with that?
Ain't nothing wrong with that. So, but the thing is,
why we talking about Ashton?
Well, people would because there's been a lot of people who've anointed him and saying he's the best things in sliced bread. He's all of that.
I never heard that.
Well, why he hadn't committed? Because the commitment to U of H is because he can go higher than that.
I never heard that. I promise you. You talk to way more people than
guess what? One of the sneaker team administrators was at his game last night. Do you know Nimitz lost to last night, Howard? This will put things in perspective. Let me tell you, sometimes it's who the opponent was, and that's gonna make it totally understand. Nimitz High School with one of the tallest front courts in Houston. They lost to a team that don't run, they don't gun, they don't press. They lost to Kingwood High School. Nick Wise graduated in 06. Mike Singletary graduated in 07.
They ain't walking back in there. They ain't walking back in that building.
You follow me?
Right.
What's my guy named, the shooter that went to Baylor? From the old school, the old pro-am. Howard.
Ricky Pierce.
No, not Ricky Pierce. No. Microwave, Terry Teagle.
No. He went to Kingwood High School. That's my point. I'm trying to think.
Mike Singletary. No. Okay.
No, he's back from the old school, back in
my mind went blank.
The late 80s, early 90s, in the 80s. But anyway, my point is this. If the premature hype isn't so extreme, I asked the sneaker coach after the game. I said, hey man, what did they tell you about it? I said, you asked me and I told you about it because I wanted to make sure that your expectations could be level, not you expecting to go in the gym and see the second coming of a high school version of Dwight Howard. That's what he was told. He was told this kid was going to be like the change. And
Dwight Howard
in high school.
Clearly, they never saw Dwight Howard in high school. He was one of the best ever. Clearly. So that's Andre Branch. That's the name I'm talking about. There you go, Herb. Andre Branch went to Kingwood High School. Terrell Middle School. How did he get to Kingwood? He went to Terrell Middle School. Sound like Chris Walker.
The same way you got to Philby.
Wow, I can't win on this show, boy.
You don't live over there in East End and Denver Harbor.
I went to Kirby Middle School. I went to Kirby Middle School, man. It's not that far away.
You went to Smiley. You went to Kirby. You should
have. Wow.
Hey, Jimmy, I talked to some more people at the game last night. I asked some older guys talking about Chris Walker. They just say he was all right.
Yeah, okay, all right.
You know
Big
what?
East, all right.
You know
All
what?
Big East, all
I had
right.
a guy.
All Big
Hey,
East, all
for
right.
some reason they like you, man, and I just don't understand it. I'm lying. That dude said Chris Walker can play, y'all, and I was pissed off about it.
No,
I hate when
man,
people say you can play.
I had one guy that asked me last night, and I'm gonna tell you his name. He asked me, he got a copy of the magazine, and this article that's on page 50, guys, it's the article of the top 100 players in the history of Greater Houston basketball over the past 50 years, actually. And this article is really, really, really good for taking you a blast to the past.
I got a question.
The guy saw Chris Walker picture, and this guy say, "What the hell is he doing in this article?"
Who was it?
I had to
Damn it,
defend
I
you,
love
Chris.
him. Where is he
No,
at?
I'm gonna tell you
Who
who
was
it
it?
was.
Who was it? Who was
John
it?
Urie. John Urie
First of
said,
all,
"What the hell
are
is
you really? First of all, are you serious? You bringing up John Urie's name on this show?
John Urie said that."
Tell John Urie I'll be. Listen, let me tell you something. Where's John Urie from? Is he from Houston?
No, California.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's leave that alone.
Tell
Tell him I'll give him back his Adidas contract. Oh, my bad. Let me stop. But anyway, though.
Wow.
Hey, man.
No. I love John. But that's perfectly fitting that John would say that. But listen, guys, I love all this high school stuff. But are we just going to act like LeBron didn't get a triple-double last night? Are we going to act like that didn't happen? That LeBron James is the first player in NBA. Listen, I fell asleep early last night and I started to test the Chop Shop thread. Everybody on the Boom Boom Room, if you want to get on the Chop Shop thread, I'm going to give you Jimmy's number. But what I'm saying is, I don't understand the first guy to get a triple-double against all 30 teams. Not Magic, not Jason, not Russell Westbrook, because he hasn't got against the Thunder yet. Not Michael Jordan while y'all run around wearing his shoes, but LeBron James.
Jimmy.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
Jimmy.
At year 17, by the way.
Hey, Jimmy.
Year 17, most triple doubles in the league.
Jimmy, very shortly will be on the screen. I'm gonna do my Stephen A. Smith impersonation. It's gonna be on the screen very short. It's breaking news. LeBron James is a great father, great husband, generous philanthropist. LeBron James Family Foundation, I Promise Initiative, Pot for Positive Change. But every time we mention anything Chris Walker had to break,
I'm trying to pivot to the NBA.
Go, hey, Space Shuttle, NASA, right? The NASA guy said, man, we're going to take the space shuttle up there to space again. Chris Walker said, LeBron James can drive it.
I'm gonna say, LeBron bought these seats up in here. You know that, right?
Huh?
These seats were bought by LeBron. Now you know that, right? We're gonna be real comfortable going up to space, guys. Year 17. And this is the way Hatter is. Let me tell you how much of a nitpicker Hatter is. The dude getting a triple double. You know what Russell Westbrook said to the media the other day when James Harden did his thing. He says, don't you guys act like this is some ordinary stuff. Don't demean what this guy's doing. Don't make it look like everybody can do this. Don't do that, right? That's what Russell said. I turn that around on Hatter and say, well, Hatter, at year 17, do you see what this dude is doing in the NBA? Don't act like it's some regular stuff, man. And they 12-2 with the best record. Dude, when are you going to come to realize, statistically, let me preface it for the Herbs and the Mr. Clarences and my Ashley. What's up, Ashley? It's Women Rock Wednesday. Ashley's smarter than all of us because she loves LeBron, is that statistically, he is the best human being to ever play on a basketball court. Statistically.
Well, and one thing, of course, LeBron James, this year he's off to a great start, over 25 points, I think about 7.6 rebounds and like 11.2 assists a game, leading the entire league. That's the most impressive stat that he's putting up right now in year 17 based on his size.
Taking a step back to make Anthony happy too. He's taking a step back on the scoring tip to make Anthony happy going on. And he's still doing his thing.
Well, and I mean, and guess what? And Kyle Kuzma got hurt, got his eye gashed late in the game. I watched some of that game last night. A lot of the fourth quarter. It was a very competitive game. The Oklahoma City Thunder wasn't going away. They stayed right there and hung right up in there. But one of the things
got that L.
I want to add was understanding. People wonder, first thing you hear when you say the stat on LeBron James, triple-double against all 30 teams. This is in regulation. So this is what they're not counting postseason into that stat. I don't know why the mainstream media did not hammer that in there, that asterisk in there, because LeBron had already scored a triple-double against the OKC in the championship of the NBA Finals back in 2012, if I'm not mistaken. He had a triple-double against them. But it must be a regular season statistic. Number two, first thing to come to mind would be Russell Westbrook. Yes, Russell Westbrook has scored a triple-double against every team except for the team that he
played against.
So he hasn't done it then.
So he had a chance to do it last week and came close. So guess what? Russell will be the next guy to do so, but he couldn't. He could have easily been the first had probably the Rockets let him know, hey man, you can make history with this game. And Russell would have went and got that triple-double.
Chris, I'm not crazy enough to think that. Believe you me, I secretly admire LeBron James' game. I just can't stand, just like the Dallas Cowboys, I just can't stand the LeBron James stands or fans.
Why?
Super fans.
Why?
No. I love LeBron James. Look at the graphic up there, Chris. Chris, I made that graphic. I went and found that material and made that graphic.
You made that to make fun of me. No, you didn't make that to applaud LeBron James. And that's okay because we're still talking. He is the best. End of discussion.
I say he is the best. But you know what?
Year 17. Year 17.
You know what I don't like? When you mention the word triple-double. And the reason I don't like that, just say he's great. He's great and everything else. He's great. Reason I don't like for y'all to mention triple-double, because we got a guy that averaged triple-doubles for 2 seasons in a row, and y'all just forgot about him.
Hatter, he was an MVP one year for doing it.
But
what
you don't even talk about it. He's like afterthought right now. And he really averaged it for the whole season.
He played with a ball hog. He went from being a ball hog to playing with a ball hog because he knew he couldn't win. Come on, Hatter.
And coach, we go to the boom boom room, and this time we address some of the comments that on there. You guys are off the chain. I'm talking about off the chain. Hey, Doug Jones says Chris Walker and Shannon Sharp gonna arm wrestle for that love affair of LeBron.
Yes, sir.
Hey man, listen. Everybody loves Rolls Royce. Everybody loves Louis Vuitton, and LeBron is the Louis Vuitton of the league. So if you want to keep wearing Coach. If you want to wear all that stuff, Coed on. I'm going to hang out with them. I'm going to be like Jimmy. I'm going to be on the winning team because y'all don't realize Jimmy got that hat and that shirt on, that vest, but he got LeBron James draws on. Y'all just can't see him, but keep going, though. He got number 24, a 2 on one cheek and a 3 on number 23, a 2 on one cheek and a 3 on the other one. And they yellow.
Not Jimbo.
And of course, NBA news in that game also last night, we mentioned Anthony Davis. I mean, let's not forget, he had 34 points in that win. And guess what? He was cooking from downtown, 3 for 5 from three-point land. Rondo came off the bench with 10 assists. How about that? Yes, Rondo is back for this team. And but unfortunately, Kuzma, I don't know how long he's going to be out, but Kyle Kuzma only had played 9 minutes in that game before getting hurt. And he was coming into his own, playing some good minutes. But this Laker team, I looked at them last night, and yes, indeed.
They're pretty good.
They are exceeding or meeting to some folks at the worst case scenario, but exceeding for others expectations this early going into the 20th game as we approach the 20-game mark, which will take place next week in the season.
Jimmy, hold on real quick. Jimmy, for the Lakers, they say Boogie might be back for the playoffs. Think about it. They got Boogie. They got Dwight. What you doing, Hatter? I'm just saying they're going to be formidable. If they don't get hurt, and we might get Iggy, if they get Iguodala and they get Boogie back, it's going to be hard to beat the Lakers, man. I'm just telling y'all, man. Go on, Jimmy.
Jimmy, hold up. I got a trivia question. Okay? All right. Check this out now. What does what does this dozen of players I'm about to give y'all have in common? So dozen of them, and I'm going to give y'all a hint after I call the players out. Luka Doncic, De'Aaron Fox, Jason Tatum, Trae Young, Jaren Jackson Jr., Zion Williamson, Kobe White, R.J. Barrett, Lonzo Ball, Kevin Porter, Marvin Bagley III, and Jackson Hayes. And it's all in there. It's all related to the San Antonio Spurs.
Ooh. What's that? I'd like to know. I'm
going to
interested.
give it to you. You'll never get it. None of those players were born when the San Antonio Spurs started their current 22-year-long of having a winning season for 22 straight years. None of those guys were born when that thing started. That's my trivia today. How about that?
Wow.
I know y'all weren't going to get it. That's crazy.
Trey Phillips provided some Women Rock Wednesday statistic. He says that according to Trey Phillips on the Facebook, on our Boom Boom Room in the feed, he says 87 females from the Greater Houston are on Division I rosters this season.
Wow.
At first,
how many boys, Jimmy? How many boys?
No, at first I would have said wow, but then I expect with the amount of girls that from the Greater Houston area, that we've had more female McDonald's All-Americans than males over the past few years. So I would expect it to be more. That's me.
87?
That's a lot, man. It sounds like a lot to me.
That's double the guys.
No. Can't be.
He said Division I. He said Division I.
No, it can't be double the guys. No, it can't be double the guys.
Oh, you talking about on rosters? I thought he said out it for the year. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. I misread.
Adam, turn to page 66.
Okay.
Turn to page 66 and watch. This is a hell of a
Payal.
Hey, Chris, don't worry. You get you one tomorrow when you come to.
I'm gonna get one tomorrow. Yeah, I'm gonna get one tomorrow.
66. 66.
So it's 66 and 87 girls.
No, he on page 66.
Oh, page 66.
I'm on there.
Adam, look through the middle, midway at the page. It says which area has the most players on the D1 roster.
Right.
Read off what it says.
Luke, wait a minute. Which area has the most players on rosters? Greater Houston, 142. Dallas Fort Worth, 127, and ASAC, 59.
Oh, so we got more than Dallas?
Yes.
Wow. Hold on. We got more than Dallas?
Chris, we had more last year. We had more the year before that. That's why I be laughing. I'm saying people, see, that's why I said it's those peaks and valleys. So if you want to go to that conversation, we're putting more kids in Division Ones with less mouthpieces promoting the kids.
So Dallas is a straight up hype machine then.
No, they got 127.
No, where you get 127 at? Yeah.
I know what I just read. Now, Jimmy, hold up. I can read. I can't count.
No, Chris, they're not a hype machine. We're just saying to you, if you don't know that number, those are factuals based on the numbers. If you're going to count them yourself, you go and get your 2 highlighters and count every doggone kid from this article, and you get.
But Jim,
you
got the Bound magazine. If you need one, hit me up.
So, and it's that was not no slight at all to DFW. I'm saying it was an acknowledgement for Greater Houston, because some people would be led to believe that we're not producing the top shelf over this 3-year span that the DFW area is producing on the top end. But for the longevity, if the objective is to get your kids in college and primarily the D1 level and everything else falls in place, then guess what? We're doing a great job. You think I'm joking? Go look up any city around the country right now. Go ask Atlanta how many Division Ones they got and tell somebody to go look them up. Go look at New York City. Go look at Chicago. Go look at now LA might have us beat. They might have us beat.
They got
New York,
in the NBA.
New York definitely don't. It's the only place is LA because of qualifiers. Chicago, no, because of qualifiers. You got to realize it's all about qualifiers too, and kids that can get into school. You can go the JUCO route, but the bigger cities, I think the only city that could have us beat is Los Angeles. That's the only one. The only one is LA.
I mean, so a lot of people really don't. And let me tell you something, Chris. And I understand in Houston, people get frustrated. And it's like we mentioned some kids earlier, like a Ashton Smith and a Sir Isaac. They're going to play Division I basketball.
Yes.
But the pressure is mounted on those shoulders to be a McDonald's All-American candidate. That ain't likely to happen right now. One lap left around the track, and you're not even listening to nobody's top 100. That ain't likely.
Oh, hell no. Very, very unlikely.
It's not likely to happen. So the focus should shift. Because if you hadn't gotten to that plateau by the time you are a junior in high school, man, you would have to go and just absolutely light
First
it.
of all, you got to be playing on the EYBL team where you get maximum press. I'm not doing an infomercial for the Houston Hoops. Or you got to be with the defenders, or if they're still with Under Armour or whoever's with Adidas, you have to be on one of those teams. If you're not on one of those teams, I want to see, and I may be wrong, and I'm not doing an infomercial for sneaker circuits. But Jimmy, when was the last time a kid was not on, I know the answer already, was not on a sneaker team and was a McDonald's All-American?
Well, yeah, just had one just a couple of years ago from out of DFW.
No. I'm talking about in Houston.
Oh, in Houston.
Yes.
In modern day history, the last one.
I know one.
That did not play on the sneaker team was Cam Ridley.
Cam Ridley, yep. He was the only, and I don't know who was before him.
Wow.
Oh, well, guess what, Hatter? I'm glad. Hey, Hatter, guess what? Chris trying to test the magazine, Hatter. So Hatter, can you proceed and follow me to page 62 with the list of all the McDonald's All-Americans from the state of Texas, boys and girls in history in the magazine. So Hatter, let's find, look, and we can go and look and see.
Okay. Where you want me to start at?
Who would be his question is, what player, who's the last player before Cameron Ridley that made the McDonald's game without the luxury of playing on a sneaker-sponsored 17U team?
From Houston.
Out of Greater Houston. Man, I'm going back. Ooh-wee.
I'm not trying to chop up the other teams because I was one of those teams when I was with Under Armour teams. But I'm just saying.
I got an asterisk for one. He takes an asterisk. I found one, and that would be Kendrick Perkins. People don't understand.
Yeah, okay, that's a major asterisk.
He did not play his last summer. He only played in 3 events. He played in the ABCD camp. We played with LeBron James and Leon Poe with that Oakland Soldiers team at John Urie's event at Clear Lake High School, and he played in one other event. I can't think of what it was. So what you guys see the picture that go viral with Kendrick Perkins, picture with LeBron James with the uniform on, as though they played the entire summer together. Get the hell out of there. That did not happen. He only played with one, maybe two events that wasn't a camp that whole summer. He sit out that summer. That was when he was with the Adidas program because and Beaumont Ozane had Adidas package and Kendrick Perkins had played with the Houston Hoops the summer prior to that. And that's an asterisk. But before the end, man, you're right.
So Jimmy, are we saying that unless you play on the sneaker team, you absolutely probably have no chance of being a McDonald's All-American?
Wow. Unless your team win. That team with Cameron Ridley, they kicked a bunch of butt.
I understand that, but But what I'm saying is, so really, it's one real dude in the sneaker era, because Kendrick Perkins was an outlier. He never really played with nobody. So Cameron Ridley is the only guy that did not play on the sneaker team that's really made a McDonald's game.
Wow. Is any from Dallas? DFW guys, y'all talk to me. Any of these guys from Dallas, DFW, all around the state? What? Samuel Williamson.
Sneaker team.
I'm looking, man. I mean, that's a hell of a thing.
Maxie, sneaker team. I mean, they all play on sneaker teams. I mean, I like to know a guy, Keith Frazier, sneaker team. I like to know a guy that's played. Oh, you know what? I know who didn't.
Andrew Jones.
Miles Turner. Miles Turner.
Miles Turner.
Miles Turner. I don't think Miles Turner played for one of the sneaker teams. I could be wrong. He didn't play for his Team Texas. They were gone by then, I think.
No, Miles didn't play on one.
He didn't play on one, did he?
I don't think so.
That's some good stuff right there. That's some good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, because Sam Williamson played for Drive Nation.
So, and of course, yeah, I'm reading some of the comments. Yeah, Sam, yeah, you're right, Sloan. I don't know why I went blank. Sam did play for Drive Nation. But so, guys, the magazine, guys, get your copy. If you hadn't done so today, it's a great resource, as you see. And I use this thing. I really do use this publication myself, even though we helped put this thing together. And shout out to Doug Jones, because he helped comprise this college section and also the district schedules that are near the front. I'll use this thing. And it's
a good resource. It's a good resource.
You see, Chris, this college section, when you get ready to do your games, it's easy to tell people in that conference.
Yeah.
The state of Texas.
It's a good resource. You put a lot of work in that. I mean, you always do a good job. It's got to be the only one in the country, first of all. That I do know. Can I just say something? I cannot believe that Robert Hatter, with all of his infinite football wisdom, has not brought up what Antonio Brown, the tweet that he sent out.
Because I respect Jimmy. Jimmy said he's tired of that man.
But no, man, it's news. Do you see the tweet that dude sent out, man? Are y'all serious, man?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Are y'all serious, Jimmy? I mean, seriously, Jimmy. After what Colin Kaepernick's going through trying to attack the league, this dude is gonna send a tweet out saying, "I'm sorry." He said, "I'm sorry." Who had her?
Mazza.
Unbelievable, man.
Mazza crap.
I think
He didn't say Bob.
Bipolar,
hold up. He didn't say Bob. He said Mr. Kraft.
I think so. I think Antonio Brown is bipolar. Something's really wrong with him, man. Like, it's something wrong with him, Jimmy. He's not playing with a full deck, Jimmy.
What's wrong with him?
Jimmy, he's not playing with a full deck.
Hey, can you read it, Chris? Or should I find it?
Find it and read it, because I'm sitting there going like,
quit bringing up stuff you don't have right away, man. Please.
But I mean, I'm just talking about it out loud, man. Okay. All I know is, guess what? We paraphrase it, and I'm sorry, Massey was enough for me.
Hold on.
That's all I gotta say. I mean, I just don't get it, man.
Hold on, I'm trying to find him.
Hey, Chris, you know this is the middle of the month. This when them yellow slips start coming in, them yellow bills, you start realizing Antonio Brown realized that the mortgage is due. He realized the car bills and due. Hey, man, that stuff start making you think, man. Look, man, I'm just joking, man.
I got it, Chris. I got it.
Please read it.
Mr. Kraft.
He called him Mr. Kraft.
Yeah, Mr. Kraft. I apologize sincerely to you and your organizations, ! All I wanted to be was an asset to your organization. Sorry for the bad media and the drama. Thank you sincerely. He said sincerely twice. AB.
Tom Brady got him to do that, man. Had to be. Man, what is wrong with him, man?
Hey, man, guess what? There's some people that's believing that he could possibly return.
Dude,
to the
Jimmy said he was going to be back a long time ago. But, Jimmy, let me tell you something. That league, man, people hate on it and don't like it and talking about they don't want to be in it. They don't want to, I ain't this here. But that's what I was trying to bring up on Monday. You don't have to be in that league. That league was there before your black ass got there. And that league would be there after you leave. So what I would do, like Taco Falls said, oh, I love Taco Falls. Oh, my God. I got to read y'all one of his things. That young fella said, yeah, I came over here I wanted to get the education. He said, because I get the education, I can get the knowledge. I want to study science. And I want to be like Stephen Jobs, not like LeBron James. Because LeBron James is an employee of Genie Bus and those other guys. He didn't say all of this. I'm just adding this up.
Only for a little while longer.
He said, I'm going to use this platform in the NBA to make me enough money so I can go back and help my people. That's the platform that I'm going to use to go help my people. If every black athlete started like that, and let me tell y'all something, we don't have to have reparations. Guess what all we got to do right now, Jimmy Fix? Every one of us just start supporting black business. Everybody. Just start supporting black business. Whatever you was doing, it just support. You ain't got to worry about no reparations. Because those black businesses going to make enough money to hire more people, to hire more people, to hire more people. Yo, dude, support each other. That's how you do it. Taco Fall, a little young cat. That's how
he ain't gonna make it up. Only problem is that he ain't gonna make a dime, but keep going though.
Yeah, but he making it up. Yeah.
I mean, that dime gonna go a long way in Africa, but he ain't gonna make a quota.
Hey, y'all got to realize. Y'all got to understand this. People on this app.
I'll just play it around.
Every time Malcolm X said it, he said every time a black person say something right, they gonna get another black person to come up there and rebut or have something crazy to say. Every time he got, I mean, he said that video. No, I ain't talking about you, Chris. Hey, Chris, a hit dog a holler. If I didn't step on your toe, don't say nothing.
There you go.
But it's so unique that we're making more money as athletes and entertainers than we ever made, Jimmy. Jimmy, I sit there and told y'all some months ago. I gave y'all a name and none of y'all knew who he was. I mentioned the name Bernard Arnault. And y'all said, well, I don't know who that is. Well, then I told you. And I wanted y'all to go and look him up. But you know why I looked him up? Because Chris crazy. You know why I went and looked him up? Ain't but 3 people like him.
Room crazy.
Chris, ain't but 3 people like him on the planet Earth. I know they said reparations won't hurt, but I know that. No. But Chris.
No. Come back to Bernardo. I just got to read what Herb said. I want you to talk about. I knew. He said, man, Taco Fall is going to marry one of those light-skinned broads and forget all about the people.
Just like Embiid ass wanted to do with that.
I can't stand y'all. Hey, man. Hey, you know what we gonna do? Hey, Herb think we got the. We gotta
get Herb about the feed, man.
Herb think we got the technology. We can't. We don't have the technology to ban people from Facebook. I don't have that technology. But back to Bernard Arnault. Let me tell you why I mention his name. He is one of only 3 people on this planet, y'all, that's worth $100 billion. That's Jeff Bezos, who owns Amazon that all of y'all buy from, except Robert Hatter. Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, I've contributed to him because I've used Microsoft, and Bernard Arnault. And the reason I say that, just last year he was not on that list. He was making 700. He was making 70 million. He was worth 70 billion. I'm sorry, 70 billion, Jimmy, just last year. So, Jimmy, I wonder what happened from 70 to about, he got about 120 billion now. But Jimmy, then I go and look at every NFL team. Y'all know I watch them when they come in. Every NBA team. And all of those guys, black guys, have his product on. In every video, they have his product on. So let me tell you who he is. He's the owner of Louis Vuitton, Moet, and Hennessy. Louis Vuitton, Moet, and Hennessy. So over this guy's wealth has improved 50 billion over the last year because of our entertainers, and guess what? The Fenty line. What's her name? Rihanna is over. That Fenty line that she is on, that's on that label. So Rihanna contribute. Hey, hold up now. She worth $600 million now. I know you got to say something, Chris. I know.
No,
Yeah.
hold on. No, I just want to stop you real quick because you see what Wood say.
What Wood say?
Wood say I contribute to his wealth because of that hen.
Yeah. No. I'm just listen.
You talk about Louis Vuitton, it's that Hennessy.
I understand. Oh, hold up. Listen to me. I've contributed
Oh
also.
my God, this dude's crazy, man.
Hey, I contributed also, Chris.
Oh man.
Chris, I got some of that luggage too.
I'm bringing mine tomorrow. Pick me up.
But guess what? I promise you, listen to me, Chris. Since I read that article, I haven't bought a bottle of Hennessy. I don't buy that no way. But Jimmy, you know how I like that Moet Rosé. I haven't bought a bottle since I've read. See, when you know better, I do better. I haven't. I remember one day, Kevin Freitman, Jimmy, he disputed whether or not my yard guy, my guy who do my yard, was black. So guess what? On Tuesday, the guy was out there, and I went and filmed him and sent it to Kevin Freitman just to see y'all, when you know better, you can do better. That's all I'm trying to say. You know, we begging for, think about it, y'all. That man went from $70 billion guy to $100 billion guy, and it ain't but $300 billion guys on the planet. And we helped them a lot. And guess what? You Hennessy drinkers, yes, y'all helped them a lot. And so that's all. That's all, Jim. I'm good. I'm good.
Well, I mean, guess what? At some point, that's similar logic is why some black folk won't support other black businesses, because they would go and they would start to accumulate and get out their mental calculators and say, well, you know what? That dude done made enough money, man. I ain't got to pay. I ain't gonna go to them. And that's kind of the same logic that black folk use. Yeah. And hell, he do an event every damn week. He do an event. I'm gonna go to this event for. He all right. He just all he want is money. You hear all the stuff that comes out.
I'm just the messenger, Jimmy. I don't want to hear about them excuses. My thing is to give the message, and I gave the message, and that's all I can do. I mean, and
so right now on the Facebook feed on the Boom Boom Room, Bobby Benjamin has a question for you, Howdy. He said, what are your thoughts about the kid from Lamarck High School last night, Jordan Ivory Curtis?
I really, really like this kid, and he take a serious approach to the game of basketball. I enjoyed watching him, and I really enjoyed more watching him lose. But I enjoyed it.
What's
wrong with him, man?
No. Because he was playing against somebody that's near and dear to my heart. I'm just telling you, that's why he asked me the question. So guess what? Hey, this is Chop Shop. I got a question.
It's Chop Shop.
What y'all got a PC on me now? Okay.
No, we good. We good.
Okay.
So are you? Hold on, I'm saying, just like the Golden State Warriors. You mentioned. You say you're a Steph Curry fan.
Jimmy, I said admirer. I never say I'm a fan of anybody.
Well, you're a Steph Curry. You're a Steph Curry ally. You're a Steph Curry supporter.
Yeah.
So you can care less if the Golden State Warriors win or lose.
No. If Steph ain't playing, I haven't watched another game. If James Harden and Russell Westbrook was the lead of Rockets tomorrow, I probably wouldn't watch. That's just how I am, Jimmy. I mean, I like players.
Who did Lamarck play? That's all I wanted to know.
They played against Hightower. They played against Hightower.
I figured. I couldn't figure that out.
But let me tell you something. Pronounce his name again. Curry. He played another, because he had about 50-some points the other night. He had 30-some points last night. And he is trying to get in my nephew club. I tell you what, I'll never go to Lamarck again. I love y'all out there, but that's too far to go watch a basketball game. But guess what? If he anywhere close to the city and Bryce and LJ ain't playing, I'm going to see that kid play. Bobby Benjamin, does that help you out a little bit? Listen to me. If Bryce or LJ is not playing, my next player to go see is pronounce his name, Jimmy.
Jordan Ivy Curry.
Jordan Ivy Curry. I loved him.
Well, understand. He like most of the guys. He's a guy that's a Division I prospect, and however, one of the words that sometimes people it always have when coaches have seen him play. So Division I coaches have seen him play, but and they always come back to the question mark when people back off. It will either be two reasons: either because you didn't satisfy them with your physical skills, or there may be a question mark on the academic side. Okay. And so it's one or the other. My thing is this, and I have a proposal for a lot of the basketball community out there, and that is this: if a kid is not, if you know that the kid is not an academic qualifier, then how about if we just stop calling them a D1 player right then? Because that ain't gonna happen. That's gonna be prolonged. The D1 schools know. I mean, it's
D1 talent. He's D1 talented.
D1 talent.
He's very talented.
But he's not going. If you know he's not qualified, then I'm not saying this young man is not. He is or he ain't.
Right.
I don't know. But if that's the reason, then guess what? He would be. I promise you, the pressure will be lifted off his shoulders if you go and let the junior colleges know that this kid exists.
Okay.
You follow me?
Yeah.
There's enough talented. Yeah. If you go look at the JUCO or national tournament in Hutchinson and look at the brackets for the last 5 years, Texas represents. This area represents. And then guess what? Now we got guys over in Florida. That's junior college coaches. Herb is living in Miami now. He's got connections over there. Butch Pierre is a head coach over there. Q Anderson used to be the assistant coach at Lamar, then at Tulane up under Perry Clark. He's a head coach on a nationally ranked team down there. We got junior colleges all around.
Hey, Chris, I'd like you to help me out with this one. Because really and truly, and I'm glad Bobby Benjamin missed it. See, I didn't know all the academic stuff. I don't know the kid. But Chris Walker, he can flat out play.
Bobby Benjamin said you're going to add him to your nephew club.
Yes, I told you he got to do that one more time. Because those nephews that I got, they got a history of doing this. They because I saw Jordan Ivy Curry last year, and he's not the player I saw last night. He was just another little kid that went in there and played against Hightower. This year, Jimmy, it was unbelievable. But the game started off in a unique fashion last night, Jimmy, and I got to tell this story. I haven't seen this in a long, long time. But the game started off with Jordan Ivy Curry shooting 2 free throws, and he made them. Hold up. A technical foul before the game started. I haven't seen that in a long, long time. Somebody told me it was about somebody dunking. So tell me, Coach Woods, I didn't call you, I'm sorry. Please tell me what the hell happened last night. I didn't like the tone that set in the basketball game. And then it seemed like the referees just took off and just controlled the game from the rest of the game. So I would just like to know, I'm just asking, what happened? Chris, Jimmy, when the last time you seen that? Jimmy, you never get to a game on time, no way. So you probably ain't never seen that.
They outlawed
I was on time last night.
They outlawed giving technical fouls for dunking in college, so they can't get those anymore. You
Okay,
can dunk
but
all
I
day
haven't
long now.
seen that, and I'm
For
just waiting.
that very reason.
And I know the book couldn't have been wrong because I sat there and saw Coach fill out the book. So I was there that early. I sat there and saw Coach fill out the book. So I was just, hey, Kevin Freeman, you ain't coach for nobody. Let the man say it, man. Come on, man. You ain't coaching no more, man. You done put your bow tie up. Let Coach Woods, he on there. I just like to know. Chris. But back to you. Don't want to get off the subject. Chris Walker, Jimmy Hicks, do me a favor. If there's anything that I can do to help, I want to know. I want to know what happened. I want to know how we can get Jordan Ivy Kirby in junior college, whatever. Jimmy, I know you just gave it. I'm just trying to figure out.
Well, we don't know he don't have grades though, do we?
Well, here's the thing. That's the question.
Okay.
Nobody. See, here's the thing. Sometimes you get your answer by the non-answer. So his summer coach is on the feed.
Okay.
If that kid was an academic qualifier,
okay,
all likelihood we would have gotten a response to say he's good to go with this is his GPA
okay,
or whatever. There ain't no problem. But I'm just saying, so therefore, the kids, see, here's what I'm thinking and what I know from experience. There are a lot of kids out there that don't really understand the threshold of the minimum academic requirements.
Even today?
Today.
Say it again, Jimmy. Jimmy, say it again.
A lot of kids out there don't understand what they need to get qualified. A lot of kids don't. Hell, if a lot of grown-ups don't, so why do you think the kids do? Why do you think the kids do? Tell you what you do. When you come in town, I challenge any of you to ask any 5 kids at random, what's the minimum academic qualified for a Division I player? And watch. Don't be surprised. Just watch what they tell you.
That's a shame.
What I mean, dude.
All I want to know is, I don't know, because I was sitting in the stands and I was sitting around a few people in that area, and they said he's challenged in that area academically. I'm just trying to figure out, I mean, how can we help him? I mean, is it possible for him to go to junior college?
Yeah, it's possible.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Understand something. Bobby Benjamin is with the Extra Eyes Media. They do plenty of combines and have the non-Division I. They're the Chitlin circuit for those non-D1 schools. Yeah. So they guess what? I'm quite sure, as he just mentioned, he has one offer already from a JUCO and a lot of interest. Okay. And what happens is those same JUCOs, now you're going into the spring.
Okay.
That's when they normally do a lot of their heavy recruiting for the JUCOs is in the spring and the off season, because you know why? A lot of JUCOs or coaches are seasoned enough to understand that the D1 school right around the corner could have 2 or 3 kids that might be getting kicked off the team or might be leaving. That might be freshmen. And that's why. So those spots aren't going to be like in abundance, just issued out to a high, unless you got a lick. That's why. But Bobby Benjamin is doing a great job. Okay. And that would be the perfect.
They're doing a great job, but all I was saying, if they can't, I mean, he asked me a question, if they can't, I was just like to see, see what we can do. If it don't happen, I just like to see what he do, because he's an unbelievable talent. And, I don't know what kind of kid he is, but he's an unbelievable talent. And I just hate to see his career end after this season. That's all. That
ain't gonna happen.
It's not gonna end. He still go to JUCO. He just got to go a different route.
Okay.
Yeah. He ain't going. He ain't a convicted felon. Hell, he's just a kid that didn't act like himself.
Okay.
But let it be a lesson to those in that community, right? To those summer coaches, to the people at the schools and stuff. Because I'm telling you how this happens.
Okay.
I don't know what this kid was as a freshman. I don't know if he grew. I don't think they knew he was going to be a good player. So what generally happens is no one's checking his grades until they find out he's good. And then it's too late. So what I always tell people is always operate like every ninth grader going to be a Division I player. And you can't go wrong. If you operate right, then everybody going to be good. So if a school was smart, that's how they would cover their back if they cared. if it was about the kid. That's the thing. So now you start challenging these coaches, man, if it's about the kids, you will make sure they have whatever they want by default, so you can do what, Jimmy? Eliminate the what, Jimmy?
Excuse.
If they smart, that's what they would do.
And that's there you have it, guys. I mean, that's one thing about it. And hey, worst case scenario, you know how this stuff goes. He can always play the spring on the grassroots circuit. That's where a lot of the JUCO bound players go and really excel. They have a lot of JUCO showcases as well, and unsigned senior showcases. That's what those guys. He's going to be okay.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. That's all I wanted to know.
Hey, Jimmy, I was going to say Corey Barker is at New Mexico State. I think they still take Prop 48s.
Yes, they took the kid from Thurgood Marshall, Jabari Rice, from 2 years ago. Thurgood Marshall went to the state tournament in San Antonio and 3 of those players from out that team are playing Division I basketball right now.
Okay.
One is at West Virginia.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
Right? One is at TSU, who went to A&M, transferred to TSU, and the other young man is at New Mexico State. 3 off that team. That's why we said 3 Division I players. You're not supposed to. That's rare. That's rare.
Can I do something right quick, Jimmy? I don't want to forget about my Women Rock Wednesday, man. These women. I got to talk about my women. Then you can get right back in. The Women Rock Wednesday, the starting 5 today is Zendaya Williams, Wendy Johnson, Marquessa Carter, Angie Holcomb, and Lori Dotson. You know I got to get my girls in there. Now you can end the show or whatever you want to do now. I had to get my girls in there.
Good show.
We definitely got it. We'll give a shout out to Bel Air High School, man. Went on the road and pulled off a big rivalry win over Episcopal. So Episcopal falls to OSU.
They got 3 Division I players, don't they?
They got 3 Division I players at Episcopal. They lost to Bel Air last night at home. And now
that's the 6-10 rivalry. That's across 6-10, right, Jimmy?
Wait a minute. Hold up. You talking about Bel Air, Glover Bel Air, or Bel Air Episcopal?
Yes, and Bel Air Coach Glover he's a watcher of the chop shop. He sent the text message. He says y'all gonna quit sleeping on my program, Doc.
Uh-oh.
Man, you got a perennial program over there, man. You ain't gonna never sleep on you. But that's interesting though. Golly.
Yeah.
So Jimmy, what you got to say about that? Since you talked about LJ, what you got to say about that?
Want to say about that?
Yeah.
One, I'm going to the Big East, right?
Yeah. I'm waiting on you. Hold up. Whose does that responsibility fall on?
At what point, that's to pose the same question. At what point does Jahari Long get the blame for not making these wins, not producing these wins? That's how it goes. You got to win. Especially when you got 3 D1s. The last team from Houston that had 3 D1s, guess what? They went to state. And Episcopal is the favorite to win state in their rendition of the SPC classification, which only has about 16 teams total.
But Jimmy, ain't it all right? Is it all right to lose a game or 2 early in the season? They get better in January. I mean, ain't it all right? Have anybody went undefeated for a long time? Have anybody went undefeated in a long time?
There you go, man.
You know what?
I'm just asking.
You know what I do? I applaud the teams in the area for taking a step upward in the coaches in their scheduling efforts. Now that I will applaud every single one of the coaches of the teams that are currently considered top shelf. I've seen and I'm witnessing. We are all witnessing the uptick in the competitiveness of their schedules. So and guess what? When you do so, it enhances the risk of losing a game or 2. So, it's one of those things where Episcopal is different because they still are the favorite to win their state tournament because that SPC, that's along with St. John's, Houston Christian, Kincaid, and all.
Win. Come on, man.
Now, Martin Ranch, as we talked about them earlier, they in 6A, and it's still wide open. It's very wide open. And speaking of another loss, we mentioned Odyssey was on the feed. Summer Creek did all Dwayne Rogers and all that bragging in Summer Creek and went open at home against North Shore, and North Shore opened up a fresh can of whoopers. North Shore beat them dudes.
You talking about man Sam Benitez, that Milby grad? That Milby grad, Sam Benitez? Go Buffs.
Man, Sam probably lived in Pearland.
Sam played for Milby, bro. That's all I know. He's a Milby Buffalo.
And he probably lived in Cleveland, Texas. The way y'all.
Hey, Jimmy, they can't get mad at us no more.
Tony alone, man. Gonna leave Coach Tony alone, man.
Hey, Jimmy, they can't get mad at us. That that time that we timed out on last Thursday, we almost giving that back to them by now, Jimmy. You remember we didn't have a whole show. We just for an hour on Thursday. Chris, hey, we these minutes adding up. We giving them minutes. We giving them these minutes back.
Yeah. And one thing I want to remind you guys, in football action on this weekend, we'll give you the rest of the full slate of high school football games on tomorrow. But two of them in key that are definitely key. I want to remind you guys, the Pasadena Invitational, the Texas Invitational starts tomorrow, Thursday, in Pasadena, all of the schools. That website is texasinvitational.com. The schedules are on there. We'll link the schedules to the RCS Sports website for you guys. That way it'll help save some of the clicking. But I want to give you something really important. On Friday, the Pasadena tournament will be in bracket play. But there's a football game going to be on that campus right next to the main Phillips Arena.
Wow, that happened before.
And that's happened before. But this game that's happening on Friday it's going to be standing room only. That means the parking lot is going to be packed. That means that if you have a game plan, now be prepared to make some adjustments, maybe park down the street at a restaurant, Uber or whatever, or walk in one of the restaurants and go inside and buy a cup of water. That works because they can't tow your car if you go inside and buy a soda pop. You patronize the business. Not a sign say this towing for this restaurant only, or you get towed. The law says if you go in that restaurant and purchase something, all you got to do is let them know, hey, look, my car running hot. I'm bought me a soda water, give me my receipt, and take it and go walk your butt over to the game. That game, the football game that's in question, guess who's playing? Guess who's playing? Dawson versus North Shore.
North Shore playing? What time?
Yeah. Yes.
What time?
On Friday night at that Coliseum. So I want to make sure I give you guys this and make sure you can plan accordingly on Friday night.
You know what time?
It's a 7 p.m. kickoff for the football.
Okay.
But that's going to be playoffs. So bracket play will be going on as well. So I know I'm going to go and catch. I'm going to catch some of that football game because you or I hadn't seen the wide receiver all season long.
Where's my man? Shadrach.
Me, Shaq, and the Billy Goat. We ain't saw either one. Anyway, guys, Chris,
Shadrach, me, Shaq, and a big Negro.
Hey, y'all, something else, man. There's something wrong with y'all, man.
That's you, Walt.
Anyway, guys,
hey,
man, them comments off the chain, honey. But
I know y'all. Hey, Herb, I haven't heard nothing yet. Herb, they're working on some things. Compliance. He talking about the James Wiseman thing. Compliance is talking to NCAA. They trying to work this thing out. So give it a few more days. We'll see. Hey, Curb, do me a favor. Look at your calendar at the Tennessee game, and just look at that calendar. That's all I can say today.
Okay. Hey, Clarence Harris say I'm gonna get all them people told.
No. Hey, Chris, could you help Clarence Harris? Chris, I made a statement. I said point guards are born and not made. Have you ever made a point guard before, Chris?
You can't make not a good one.
Thank you, sir.
Not a good one.
Not a good one. Okay. Thank you. He talking about let Chris. I wanted Chris to answer it. I want Chris to answer. Do what I told you. Hey, listen to me sometime. Now, what you got, Jim?
Guys, we'll definitely appreciate y'all. Look at the clock, man. It's that time, man.
Oh, yeah, I got to go.
It's time to yabba dabba do this thing, man.
Hey, man, we going to the spot tomorrow, man. I see y'all at the spot tomorrow, man.
Hey, I got another spot out there in Pasadena.
Wow.
Well, yes, indeed. I can't.
Really?
Hey,
Jimmy, what time the game at Pasadena, the early game that I need to see?
tomorrow, the early game, of course, in the morning, 9 a.m., Martin Ranch and Ridge Point. Ridge Point pulled off a big win last night over Thurgood Marshall. Thurgood Marshall had beat the devil out of Clear Lake. They was up by 30 at one point on the other night. Ridge Point beat Thurgood Marshall. Now Ridge Point plays a Martin Ranch team who's probably deflated and unmotivated to play a 9 o'clock in the morning game. So guess what? That's possible.
Wait a minute. You said Martin Ranch is going to be unmotivated? You got to be out your mind.
Unmotivated.
Martin Ranch is going to have blood in their eyes at 8:30 in the morning.
Okay. Remember now, if you already said people, they were limping the other night. They were limping the other night and hobbled the other night. They're not going to be motivated to play at 9 in the morning.
That's all right. Coach, we're going to be all right, Coach. Yasadena will be there.
Then also, that game will be at the Phillips Fieldhouse at 9 a.m. And right behind it, Dickinson were playing Cy-Fair next up. Cy-Fair, they went on the road and beat up on Anthony Favre and Maid Creek.
Man,
how about them?
Yeah, he ain't came on the show today.
Because he got that head beat in. That's how it works.
No.
Straight. He's this many and this many. He's 1-2 on the season and beating Aldine by 3 points on the opener. Favre has been taking lumps upside the head. So come on in, brother Favre. Come on to the front of the congregation so we can go in fellowship together. Now, also tomorrow in the morning, if you can take off work, the game to see, I think I'm going to be at Pasadena High School for 10:30. This is going to be a very good one. I'm telling you. Sam Houston is playing Hightower. Reason I said very good.
Hold up, at 10:30 a.m.?
Soon as you get off the plane, Jim.
Adam, get me from the airport at 9:30. We're going to go to the game.
Which airport you at?
I'm at Hobby, 9:30.
I'm going to send a card for you because I'm going to be watching LJ. I'm going to send a card for you.
You send a card for me because you know what Angie said about the LJ game? She said no ball movement.
Man, Angie don't know nothing about no basketball. Angie don't know nothing about no basketball. She just be watching.
and so there's other games in the day, of course, but those in the morning, once again, that Hightower and Sam Houston game will be at Pasadena High School, which is right about 3 miles from the Millby High School off the 225 exit from 610. So those are some of the games to see in the morning. Once again, 9 o'clock, Ridge Point and Martin Ranch, 10:30, Dickinson and Cy-Fair. If you stay at the same location, or you go to Pasadena High School, catch Hightower and Sam Houston.
Jimmy, help me out. Help me out so I can have it in my mind. Right quick, Jimmy. Martin Ranch is going to be where?
Phillips Fieldhouse.
That's Phillips.
Yeah.
So I got the and Bryce is at Pasadena.
Yeah.
Okay. Wham. Okay. Chris, I'm going to send you a car, baby.
I definitely got to see it.
My two nephews play early in the morning.
That's how. So get out and support the high school basketball kids if you have time this week.
And I apologize to Angie, man. Hey, Chris, you better quit breaking up my happy home over here. Me and Angie got a happy home over here. Angie wasn't talking about.
Why is she talking about Marshall? Nobody was talking about Marshall basketball.
Well, you leave her alone, man.
I'm sorry, hey, Jimmy, did you say something about Fort Bend Marshall?
I'm sorry, Angie. I'm
sorry.
Jimmy,
did you say something about Fort Bend Marshall?
Yeah, he mentioned Marshall. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I didn't know if he mentioned Marshall or not.
I told Marshall got beat by Ridge Point.
Yeah.
And
she said no ball movement. Okay.
See, I'm sorry, Angie, man. Chris, man, you got me in trouble again.
You see what Herb say?
What Herb say? You know.
Hey, this Facebook's feet off the chain, man.
Oh, man. Hey, man.
Oh, man. Y'all going to get in trouble, man. Hatter in hot water, man. Hatter going to be with Kevin Hart with cold as balls. They're going to put Hatter in cold as balls.
Hey, man. Hey, y'all. Hey, I'm enjoying this. This is the first time let me tell you something, Chris. That's the first time I had this much fun since my son was playing. Man, I got 2 kids that I just loving and playing. And I love when y'all talk about them. Because guess what? They don't care. Especially Chris Walker.
Hey, listen, hold on. We for him, dog. At the end of the day, I'm an H-Town dude.
I know you.
I'm from H-Town.
Yeah.
I want kids from H-Town. Hey. Tell all them Dallas dudes we got more D1s than you.
Hey, guess what?
That's right. We got more D1s. Hey, that's right.
Why don't you tell some of these people what you heard the next morning at the Jimmy event?
Nah.
Say, man, we up out here, guys. It's time to yabba dabba do this thing and slide down Dino's back. On behalf of the hatter, and of course the hat. It's time to twist this thing around. And now I gotta spike this old look.
Jim Hicks, Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it.